Good morning. It is 5 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A little warmish this morning. Let's check the forecast here with Stefano DiPietro.
Today, there's a lot of cloud cover. Little bit of a drizzle will be possible in those clouds. Upper 60s to the low 70s for today, but many of us get a good dry break.
Yeah, the rain returns, though, he says, later this week, so stick around for more details on that within the next hour. Big deal at the White House on Tuesday as President Trump hosted Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for trade and business talks during the day, and then a black tie dinner. And at that dinner, the president announced Saudi Arabia is getting a new designation.
I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
Saudi Arabia becoming the 20th nation to hold major non-NATO ally status. Major non-NATO ally is viewed as a powerful symbol of the strength of the relationship between the U.S. and a foreign partner. Both chambers of Congress have approved it. Now it's up to President Trump to sign the bill to release all of the Justice Department files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The House passed the bill nearly unanimously.
The yeas are 427. The nays are 1.
Only one lawmaker voted no, Republican Clay Higgins, who voiced concern about the privacy of the victims and people mentioned in the files who have not been criminally implicated. Higgins writing, if enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. The Senate then approving the measure almost instantly.
That's ABC's Lionel Moisey. Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management. Online at beaconcm.com.
Stocks continue to slide Tuesday in trading following a slide in overseas markets. The Dow was down 499 at the close. The S&P fell 55 points and the Nasdaq lost 268 points. Shares of Home Depot fell after a disappointing third quarter earnings report. In a statement, the company blamed low home sales, fewer Americans renovating amid economic worries, and a mild storm season so far than last year. A federal judge dismissed the FTC's claims that Meta has an illegal monopoly on social media. The antitrust case filed under the Biden administration could have forced the company to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp. In a statement, a Meta spokesperson said the court's decision today recognizes that Meta faces fierce competition. Kroger, the nation's largest supermarket chain, announced it is closing 3 automated fulfillment centers in an effort to streamline delivery operations, fulfilling more orders out of its stores. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Couple of days of losses on the markets, but this morning we're looking a little better. Dow futures are up 48 points. NASDAQ futures gaining 95. S&P futures are up 21. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. In Brentwood this morning, watch at Old Hickory Boulevard at Hearthstone Lane. There's a crash involving some injuries. And also in South Nashville on Spence Lane at Murfreesboro Pike. That is another area where there's a crash involving injuries. Major roadways look okay heading in. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so as bad as I felt yesterday, Joan and Sam,
Yeah.
it cannot be close to how bad Aftyn Bain feels this morning. I'm so confused by this story. Good morning, folks.
I hear you.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's assuming she has feelings.
Donald Trump expected to sign the Epstein files bill today, and the Senate yesterday, of course, and the House of Representatives. Everyone has now signed off on that, so that'll be part of our coverage this morning. So I'm a little confused about what happened last night. Aftyn Bain, right, running for the 7th. Aftyn Bain has an appearance with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is in town for her book to be published as part of her publicity tour. So Kamala Harris, I guess, either shows up to an Aftyn Bain event or Aftyn Bain shows up to a Kamala Harris event. I'm not sure which one it is, but here's what's confusing, is that Bain goes up on stage, and I can't find the audio of it anywhere, but Bain goes up on stage, greets the audience, and then says that she's got to leave before the vice president arrives.
Isn't that just so bizarre?
I'm so confused. Like, something had to have happened where Aftyn Bain or Kamala Harris, somebody didn't want to be on stage with somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, right? That has to be what happened. And so here's what's crazy, too. So Kamala Harris needs some video. Kamala Harris is...
Don't let anyone ever take your power or your voice from you.
You realize she's like using a bullhorn?
Well, you know, there's so many people there.
Don't you have one right behind you?
It is still here, actually. But I don't understand. So are you telling me that the appearance of Kamala Harris drew so few people that instead of a gigantic audio system with microphones and speakers, she pulls out a bullhorn? So I don't know, and she's surrounded by a bunch of folks. It looks like maybe in a park. I have no idea. The talking points, by the way, are very familiar.
You tell people what you want. You don't let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
You know, that the microphone or the bullhorn is like giving that feedback. You know what I mean? Half these people are probably, you know, Democrats from the state legislature or, you know, people that work within Kamala Harris's campaign, which I'm assuming she's going to run for president again, whatever, her inner circle.
And that includes at election time. This election is 14 days from today. Today's Tuesday.
She's got that whole thing going on with the head nod. You people watching on Super Talk TV, you see the Kamala head nod whole thing? When she kind of feels like she's got it going on, you know, that whole thing. You know what the funny thing is? If you watch this or if you listen to it, she is at her most confident when she realizes that she is actually correct about the day of the week.
It's 14 days from today. Today's Tuesday. Yeah. It's 2 weeks from now. That's right.
People are like, yes, Kamala, it's Tuesday.
And you know, I've been in elected office long enough to know that when people start deciding who am I going to listen to, and I'm going to speak truth right here. This is real talk.
Real talk.
I mean, Joan, how about if every time I make a point, I'm going to say, this is real talk right here.
Yeah.
And this is the truth. And I do the Kamala head nod.
No, this is Super Talk.
It is Super Talk. It could be Real Talk, too, if I wanted to call it Real Talk. At least in the 5 o'clock hour, when I know that nobody within management listens. Joan, we could play like Spanish salsa music in the 5 o'clock hour. They would know for 2 weeks. Joan's like, shut up, Mandis. Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, right. Two groups of people. Who's writing the checks and who's voting?
She's got that whole slur thing going on where she sounds like she's been drinking.
Middle of the afternoon.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, though, Joan?
Yeah.
Where she starts on this. Turn this up a little bit.
Real talk. They're going to look at two groups of people. Who's writing the checks and who's voting?
I mean, she sounds like she's at the end of the bar, right?
Two groups of people.
She sounds like she's at the end of a bar.
Yeah.
And she's just, you know who she sounds like, Joan? Cliff Clavin.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Cliff Clavin from...
Cheers.
Cheers, from Cheers. You know, the drunk at the end of the bar just spouting off, you know, about whatever and droning on, and people start laughing. Oh, God. Is she ever going to shut up?
So let's make sure that they understand we vote. That's right. And they need to come here. And they need to listen.
So the funny thing,
And they
though,
need to
is that
interact.
as she's doing this, not once did she actually endorse Aftyn Bain.
Demand that is you show
She's
the
on a
church,
bullhorn
"No, I vote."
in a park
And if you don't respond to
right
my
there
needs,
in a tent
I'm
that
not
says
voting for you.
TNDP,
With
Tennessee
the leadership
Democratic
from the
Party.
ground, from
And
the
she
leadership,
comes
from
in
the
and she
community.
does not endorse Aftyn Bain. So here's my question. So do you think, I mean, we can keep listening, you know, the whole Kamala head nod thing. She never endorses Aftyn Bain. So do you think this was an accident? Do you think that they're going to come back with a sorry, we forgot to endorse Aftyn Bain, so we're going to endorse her now? Or do you think this was an oversight, slap in the face of Aftyn Bain? What is it?
So the Nashville Banner is reporting that they called Aftyn Bain after this, and they asked her if there was any political reason why she didn't stay at the Harris event, and that Harris didn't endorse her by name. And Bain said, "Our campaign didn't organize the event." That's all she said.
So that is like campaign malpractice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the former vice president of the United States, and somebody who, astonishingly enough, is very popular within the Democrat Party.
You're right. It's astonishing.
Stupidity apparently is.
Listen, what are the tenets of Democrats and progressivism? Dumb. So, and this is what I would say a great example, where it looks worse for Aftyn Bain that she shows up and then announces that she has another place to go 5 minutes before the vice president comes onto the stage.
The Tennessee Star gave it the headline, Kamala Harris stops short of endorsing Aftyn Bain.
You know what? So if you're keeping score, Jasmine Crockett could not be bothered to fly into Nashville. She did the event from her shoe closet. And then you have now some weird dynamic going on between the vice president and Aftyn Bain. I think there's something weird going on. I think something bizarre has happened where you've got Aftyn Bain is not jiving with the Democrats. That has to be the only thing that I can imagine. Or internal polling could be so abysmal that they don't want to tie Kamala Harris to Aftyn Bain.
But I couldn't imagine why. She's just as progressive and just as liberal. So
That's the only thing I can think of, though.
To your point, there may be some insider baseball that we're missing out on that is what's kept a endorsement from formally coming out.
Now, I think if you are a Democrat, if you're a progressive, does it matter if Kamala Harris has endorsed your candidate or not? I think it looks really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Joan, you're smart at politics. What do you think? Is it bad or good? Is it bad or good? I want a yes or no from Sam, and I want a yes or no from Joan. And I'm going to do it coming up after the traffic. Is it positive or negative for Aftyn Bain that Kamala Harris did not endorse her?
I think it's an absolute negative especially when you couple it with Jasmine Crockett not appearing in person.
From the shoe closet.
Yeah, from the shoe closet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, it's the Democratic Party doing an arm's distance. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll say your name, but
Sure.
we're not going to go all in on you.
Apparently, at the
Bain.
next Aftyn Bain event, Gavin Newsom is going to call in and then hang up while Aftyn Bain is in the parking lot. I heard that somewhere. Could very well be the case. Sam, what do you think? Positive or negative that Aftyn Bain did not get an endorsement from Kamala Harris?
I think overwhelmingly negative because, first of all, when people want to talk females in politics, if you're going to decry that there's misogyny and it's male dominated, then support your own.
Where's the sisterhood?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, right.
No pants are being shared there. So to take that off the board, they have the same kind of platform and everything.
Yeah,
They must know something we don't to withhold that, because I really think when it comes to Democrats, the only risk you take endorsing somebody is how Swalwell endorsed that New Hampshire state rep who was charged with child pornography and exploitation over the summer. That's really their line of where they withhold endorsements.
Okay, so then that goes with anything going on in traffic.
There's a couple of crashes, one at Old Hickory Boulevard at Hearthstone Lane, and an injury crash at Spence Lane and Murfreesboro Pike.
So here's what I think. I think something may be about to hit with Aftyn Bain. There's a reason why Jasmine Crockett wouldn't fly here, and there is a reason why Kamala Harris didn't want to appear with Aftyn Bain. Something is brewing. Either a massive loss, which means that they don't want any of that stink from Kamala Harris, some of that big loss stink to be on Kamala Harris if she decides to run again. It's like, oh, look, Kamala Harris supported Aftyn Bain and she got her butt handed to her. Or something is about to pop with Aftyn Bain that we don't know. And Kamala Harris didn't want anything to do with it.
I think
what kind of thing are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know, Joan. What are you thinking? There's been certain, and I'm not going to say because
are there rumors?
There's rumors
of
hijinks and shenanigans. I don't want to. I don't want to. No. Listen, and I'm serious. I've heard rumblings from the state legislature as far as things that have happened there. But I can't repeat it on the radio because I have not confirmed. Matter of fact, I tried to confirm some of these allegations, and nobody could confirm it. So I'm not talking about it.
Or anyone didn't, really want to confirm it.
Or they didn't want to confirm it. That's exactly right. But either way, I'm not going to go off half-cocked saying stuff that I don't have confirmation on. So, something's weird about this. That's all I'm saying.
Have you seen any of her social media ads or anything like that? So they are absolutely contentless.
We were joking about that Monday.
Yeah,
where it was like feed children, fix roads, and what? Lower taxes, whatever. Whatever.
But if you just look at the way she's campaigned on social media and some of these, there's no content to it whatsoever. She just says that we have to stop Matt Van Epps and his billionaire tax cuts. I don't think she actually has a platform at the end of the day. I don't think she has. People clowned on Trump during the debate for the concepts of a plan remark. I don't even think she has concepts. I think she has loose potential ideas that are scattered about like marbles inside of Kamala Harris's brain.
I think they knew that this is an incredibly safe, the 7th Congressional District. It is incredibly safe. Cooks, whatever it is, I forget what the name of they do polling and such. And they say that this district is like, I think, plus 10, plus 15, something like that. So whatever. I just think that one way or another, there's something going on. And Kamala Harris's people did not want to appear with Aftyn Bain. That is my take on it. Joan, I don't think I'm too far off. You good with that?
I am way good with that.
Okay.
I think it...
So now inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Why is it that Kamala Harris refused to appear with Aftyn Bain or give an endorsement? It's the endorsement thing. Our president has endorsed Matt Van Epps.
Right. Wholeheartedly, full-throatedly endorsed.
Which, by the way, I think Matt Van Epps is supposed to be in studio today.
Oh, nice.
But with all of I'm like backed up 15 interviews because I was out yesterday and I had some scheduled and then I had some scheduled for today. So I'll ask him about that because, Trump, as you said, full endorsement of Matt Van Epps, and Kamala Harris, nothing. I think that says a lot about Aftyn Bain.
WPLN, which I believe is the NPR affiliate in town, has got Van Epps leading by 8 points.
All right, there you go. In early voting, no less.
Yeah.
So it is a 521 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Kamala Harris, do you think, Joan, because you're really smart politically, at some point, do you think they're going to actually get her some media training? Because this whole thing where she talks like this, and she does, she hasn't learned anything.
She hasn't.
Just playing the audio of
to talk with all the leaders who are here, and there are people you will never meet.
And she's just the same message, same pattern of
activism,
speaking.
Because of what you will do over the next 2 weeks as a marker.
It's funny. She says, what you do in the next 2 weeks will be a marker. Okay, well, but you're not telling them who to vote for, Kamala. That's the thing. This whole point of her talking was to get people to come out for the 7th, and she never endorsed the candidate. You see how that works? Head of the Democrat Party comes in, attends a get out the vote rally, telling people to come out and vote in a couple weeks or vote early, and then she doesn't mention the candidate.
Would you just love to be
It's just
like
so
on that
strange.
phone call when Kamala Harris's people say, "Oh no, we're not appearing on stage with her."
Something's
No
up,
way.
man. Something's up. 522 WTN. And Joan, would you like to tell us what's happening in the news coming up at 5:30?
Oh, I certainly would, Dan.
I'm out of practice, man.
Okay,
I'm feeling
well,
fine, but I'm out of practice.
You get in practice over there, and I'll tell you the headlines. So much for peace on earth and goodwill toward men. We'll tell you what's happening out at the West Nashville Shopping Center that you will want to be aware of. Also, this story, Tim Burchett just posted a video of a half-naked man on his Instagram account. Yeah, we'll explain in a moment. Those stories coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
628, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What is that music?
I don't know.
Salsa.
Why? Because I made some sort of a comment about we could play salsa in the 5 o'clock hour and nobody in management would notice.
Yes.
Ah, that.
This is an hour of royalty-free salsa music.
As long as it's royalty-free, because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube again.
Because of you, Sam.
People wanting to know how much did they pay Kamala for that non-endorsement? Aftyn Bain.
She was there to sell books, let's be real.
$86.50, too much crazy for one stage. Aftyn Bain and Kamala Harris. Okay. Let's see here. Does it matter that Bain is white? $47.02. I don't know about that. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I
doubt it, but
she's pro-killing babies and taking money from hardworking Americans to pay for social welfare. So.
Sure. Yeah, protecting the bad guys. You remember?
Yeah,
Aftyn
bullying
Bain,
ICE.
Bullying ICE, protecting the bad guys. 8673. Well, thank you, 8673. I thought you were sick, Dan. You sound good today.
Aw, that was very nice.
Quit missing work, dude. Be a man. Do you know what? You should have seen me darn right well in the fetal position yesterday morning at about 12:45 with my stomach issues. Holy mackerel. I'm going to leave it there. Nobody needs to know what happened to me. Brian Wilson, by the way, spreading fake news about me yesterday.
Oh, really?
And I take this very seriously. And we're going to talk about what he said about me yesterday coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning now, 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A little warmer this morning than we've been used to. Here's Stefano.
Waking up and getting out the door in the 60s and 50s. The rest of our day today, we have a tough time with that cloud cover, upper 60s to the low 70s.
And Stefano says that the rain will move back in tomorrow and it'll last for a couple of days. But he's not expecting any severe storms out of this. Former FBI Director James Comey is back in federal court this morning. He'll argue that a judge will throw out his indictment for allegedly lying to Congress.
James Comey's lawyers argue he's being targeted for his outspoken criticism of President Donald Trump and that the indictment against him is the product of a vindictive prosecution. They're asking a federal judge to dismiss the indictment against him that alleges he lied to Congress in 2020 when he said he didn't authorize the FBI to leak information to the press. If the indictment withstands the judge's scrutiny, he could go to trial in January. From federal court in Alexandria, Virginia, Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Watch yourself at West Nashville Shopping Center on Charlotte Pike. Police are warning that a group of teenagers posing as members of a basketball team have been asking shoppers for donations. But when shoppers tap their credit cards for, say, a $20 donation, they end up being charged a whole lot more.
It's sad because I'm definitely now untrusting of anyone. I wouldn't have imagined that teenage kids would have done that. Because I'm always the first to give to somebody. I'm very familiar with hard times. So, until this point, it's been important to me to give back when someone says they need it.
So that shopper was speaking to WSMV4. She is out $1,000.
No.
Yes. They're not even really a basketball team.
So you got just a bunch of guys in some sort of basketball uniform saying, hey, if you could help us out.
Yep, and people are helping them, and they're scamming them.
You know what? The Girl Scouts would never do this to you.
Probably not.
You just buy some cookies, and they just make you fat.
Darn Girl Scouts.
I know, right?
So police say they're trying to identify who these teens are, and they'll be increasing patrols around that area, but those kids could go anywhere to any shopping center, so be careful.
Which is really sad, too.
It
because
is.
There might be organizations that are legit.
That people will now walk by.
Will now say, oh, no way, because we don't know what's real and what's not. That's really sad, actually.
It is, and they're teenagers. Stinks. And the story that, it makes my morning. Tennessee U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett asking for the public's help identifying a couple of guys who pulled into the driveway of his Tennessee property and then used the driveway as a toilet. He posted a video of this episode to his Instagram account, along with a still shot of the license plate. It was actually fixed over the one guy's parts. You can see they were driving a Jeep, by the way. You can check out that video yourself on his Insta account. It's at Real Tim Burchett.
So I wonder if they knew that was his place and they just decided, you know what, out of...
It doesn't look like it. Now, I watched the video. It looks like, and they pulled up right in front of the security camera. By the way, the one guy gets right out and he goes to the bathroom right there. The other guy walks past the security camera, onto the property itself to go to the bathroom. So,
wow.
yeah.
When nature calls.
I guess so. You just pull into a congressman's driveway.
Don't you see that there's it's so sad. People probably don't care.
Right.
But if there's a camera right there, and I guess, I should know this. Sam, is it illegal to whip it out and just go to the bathroom outside on somebody's property? I don't even know.
Decency, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't that weird? Okay, so now he's got the video of these two guys, pretty identifiable too. Wait till we figure out what charges they're hit with.
All right, very good.
That is the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, we have a couple of crashes. One's in Belmead, Harding Pike at Woodmont Boulevard. The other on Spence Lane in South Nashville at Murfreesboro Pike. Main roads looking pretty good so far. Just starting to slow down now. The volume picking up on 24 westbound. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.538. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open. Very active this morning. Thank you. 615-737-9986. You know, Joan.
Yeah.
We're talking about, you know, maybe what kind of charges that these two guys that were caught going to the bathroom on Tim Burchett's property. And
somebody texted in about that on the Super Text line 2377. Says that if you read the rest of the article, the two men were charged with a misdemeanor. Get it, a misdemeanor? Okay.
A
misdemeanor.
No, I love it. I'm just letting it marinate.
Yeah.
Because one of two things. I thought, okay.
So were they, apparently.
Okay, I can either steal dude's really bad but really good joke, or I can let Joan say it. And I thought it would be more entertaining to have Joan say it.
I said wiener.
Then you... Wait, hold on. Do it again.
No, I
Do
can't.
it again, Joan. I stepped on it.
Nope.
I'll clip it.
Yeah, but I talked over when Joan said...
I said wiener.
There you go.
Perfect.
Thank you,
now
Joan.
You've got your little...
They're lucky that they're not walking away a couple phallic felons.
Somebody also texted and said, 4345 says, urinating in public gets you arrested and put on the sex offender registry for life.
So
in Tennessee, yes. Yes, it does.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
insanity.
Yep.
Okay, now, and far be it from me, I'm not like standing up for groomers or pedophiles, but you know, if you're in like 18 or over and you are at a party and they catch you going to the bathroom in a public park where there could have been kids, yeah, your life is destroyed.
It has happened to delivery drivers who have been out in rural routes.
Yeah.
And you gotta go.
And it makes no sense. It makes zero sense. And I do understand. I'm not advocating for people to just, you know.
This isn't San Francisco.
Right. But at the same time, if you're out on a rural route, or if you're an over 18 and you're at a party, you guys are drinking in the park, you know, on a Saturday night or something, and then you get caught going to the bathroom, you're on the sex offender list for life. I mean, that means that there's only certain places you can live. If you're looking for a job, I'm assuming that shows up on a background check. Oh, and there have been people that have come out and said, can we just, nobody wants to support pedophiles and groomers, obviously, but this is a little extreme because good people get caught up in this and then their lives are ruined.
Yeah.
Or you're a dumb teenager. A friend of mine grabbed a girl's butt in a grocery store. 15 years on the sex offender registry for that. He was 17.
Goodness.
She was 15. So, like, it was it inappropriate? Yeah. Should he have been on, a criminal charge with maybe some short jail time or probation? Sure. For 15 years, though, you're taking the best part of his life away, and it's going to be impossible to be employed.
Yeah, that's crazy and sad.
Which is, it was understandable. I think it was like 15 years ago that the Colorado Supreme Court was trying to rule certain things were unconstitutional about it.
Well, at this point, somebody who spends 15 years on the sex offender registry for something like that, I just seems a little insane. But, and we see these kind of things all the time. And there are groups and organizations, they are sticking up for, obviously, the victims of sexual assault. There are some people that are saying, listen, we do need some sanity. We've gone way too over to the other side. Let's use some common sense as well, instead of just throwing people out and throwing their lives away if they make a mistake early on. And that is, I think, what that is. Now, Did you guys notice what happened during the press conference with Donald Trump and the head of Saudi Arabia?
I have been watching it on repeat.
Okay. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you will see Donald Trump walking up to Elon Musk and a little tap on it looks like the left arm. And it's like a playful kind of a tap where he just, hey, Elon, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you. As Elon Musk is there in Washington, D.C., in the White House. And I think that's great. It looks like the Donald Trump and the First Buddy, I guess they're back together again. And you know what? Dare I say, Joan? Reunited. And it feels so good.
It feels so good.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
And not in a weird, creepy way.
First Buddy is amazing.
Well, when you think about how Elon Musk openly called and said that Donald Trump was on the Epstein, in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And by the way, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole thing. Elon Musk didn't say anything that was not true, but they didn't prove anything. I mean, it was Elon Musk emailing about Donald Trump. So I love to see that Elon is back in the White House. I think it's great. Now, the question is, for how long? In what capacity? Mm-hmm. And is he just hanging out there, with Donald Trump as, a show of support? But I think it's great. Now, we could sure use his money in 2026 and 2028. That is most definite. So we'll have to see if this is the beginning of a yet another fruitful relationship. One of the things...
That's not the part I was watching on loop.
What were you watching on loop? What did I miss?
You missed it.
What? Tell me.
Totally missed it then. President Trump calling out ABC Mary Bruce.
Oh, I've got that.
Okay.
Oh, I've got that.
That's my favorite part.
Is that your favorite part?
Yeah. That woman is she is led by every thought, every action that she takes is led by every report that she does, is led by her hatred for Donald Trump. And he called her out.
Boy, he sure did. Let's see here. I'm looking for, do you have the audio handy on your end?
I can find it.
Yeah, like I've got, I know that Jake Tapper wasn't happy.
Oh, he wasn't?
No, Jake Tapper. And a lot of this, so if you don't know, Donald Trump meeting with the leader of Saudi Arabia, and there's the explosion that we hear every morning at this time, and they seem to be getting closer and closer.
Doesn't it seem that? It seems
does.
like you can really feel it in your feet now. This building's going to come down.
Wow, thank you, Joan. Good morning.
Sorry.
So Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, as they like to call him, Donald Trump was meeting with him. Everybody knows, and I'm going to go into a deeper dive on this in the 6 o'clock hour, but this was Donald Trump and Jamal Khashoggi. The conversation was about Jamal Khashoggi and how Mohammed bin Salman, the head of the royal family out there in Saudi Arabia, was said to have been the one to take a hit out on Jamal Khashoggi. What did I say? Why are you laughing so hard? What did I say?
I found the Trump Mary Bruce audio.
Oh, did you play it real
Isn't
quick?
It just great?
Oh my gosh! So she asked him about the Epstein files.
This was her her very first question. It may have been the very first question of the entire press briefing.
He's given us a new soundbite as the president.
Go ahead.
You know, it's not the question that I mind. It's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
Wow.
As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me.
Yep.
But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep.
So is that it? He's fading out. All right.
It's pretty. It's just a proper roasting.
And it was a long roasting too. The question that she asked that sparked his anger. Are you ready for that part?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business.
She did seem to be a little juiced up over asking the question, right? You could tell she was like amped up. She was ready to go.
Yes.
That Mary Bruce.
But
Is she the one you said you don't like?
Yes, because everything about her being is I hate Donald Trump and I'm going to spin every story to be about him.
Well,
every story.
Yeah, and I don't want to blow all my talking in the six.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry.
No, it's good though. So just real quick. Bill Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Stacey Plaskett, Bart Gordon, who apparently was a Tennessee congressman, a Democrat, back in around 2006. Those are all Democrats that Jeffrey Epstein gave to. Also, as I know you know this, Joan, Hakeem Jeffries is known to have been, this is what came out in the news yesterday, Hakeem Jeffries has now been accused of sending a letter basically asking Epstein for campaign donations.
Yep. Rising star in Congress.
The Brooklyn Obama, I believe, is what they call
Barack.
The Brooklyn Barack, yes,
which
is what
hilarious.
Yeah, and so you've got, and this was after we found out that Jeffrey Epstein was, a groomer, a pedo, all of the above.
Yeah. And that's the point. It was afterwards. And Hakeem Jeffries is out there, hands out, like, oh, give me some.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But the one thing she said to him that bugged me the most, she said in that, and it goes by fast, so you kind of miss it. She says to the Crown Prince, U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you're here in the Oval Office. President Trump says, who are you with? Why? Then she says, why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, President Trump. Why should Americans trust you?
Wow, I didn't catch that last part.
I know. Because he's talking over her at that point.
Right.
She's just evil. And personally, I would really rather her have the same vim and vigor for things like finding what really happened to Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the bottom of that. She has no interest in that. She has no interest in the things that matter to people.
Well, the Joe Biden auto pen scandal.
Yeah.
And
there's so many. Well, here's the deal. We're all right on this. And number two is, it's in the way that she asked the question. Donald Trump is absolutely right. It's in the way that you're asking the question. So, there's nothing wrong with aggressive question asking. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like when it feels more like a personal attack against her. Now, legit question about Mohammed bin Salman and the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. We're going to talk about that coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. done a number of different interviews on the murder of Khashoggi. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why it is that the Democrats are so up in arms over Donald Trump taking a meeting in the White House with Mohammed bin Salman. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. Got a lot more straight ahead. Joan Jones has the news coming up at 6 o'clock. Joan.
There we go. Got to turn on the mic. We'll take a look this morning at what we're looking at for weather. Also, you know, the CMA Awards are being awarded tonight, so there's some road closures. We'll update you on all of that coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.557 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Folks asking if I had seen the quiet piggy moment from Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So do you know who he was talking to?
It was a Bloomberg reporter.
So, and I guess Matt Murphy talked about this yesterday, but this is Donald Trump, and he is on Air Force One. You have to listen real close.
Sir, If there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not saying it's
I mean, he looks this woman
Wow.
right in the face and says, quiet, piggy. Now, I will say that I don't necessarily condone that. But what I would also say is they've probably called him Hitler and a Nazi.
Yeah.
And a white supremacist. So it seems to me like, you know what, if all he's calling you is piggy, and I promise you he's called you a lot worse than that behind the scenes, and he wants to call you a lot worse now, I don't know. Isn't that kind of par for the course? Here we go. I'm going to I can't stop. Is it wrong? Joan, is it wrong that I'm laughing?
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
this is very funny.
Because, you know, Joan is the mom of the show. So if Joan tells me, Dan, you shouldn't be laughing at someone else's misbehavior, I don't know. I find it funny.
Sir, if there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not saying it's
I mean, man, right? He just looks dead in the eye. I don't even know. Do we know who she's talking to? He's talking to?
Joan said Bloomberg reporter, but I was just thinking myself that if this woman happened to be rotund, that it would be even funnier.
I don't think they let rotund people on Air Force One. It throws off the balance.
Her name is Catherine Lucey, Lucey, Bloomberg's White House correspondent.
Boy, okay, so I hate to do this, but do we find
You
out?
have to.
Very
Now you have
very
to.
quickly, ask if she is Google and see if she is.
Do you remember back in 1996 when Trump was running the Miss Universe pageant?
Yes.
And Alicia Machado won in 1996. She says that Trump once called her Miss Piggy and told her to lose weight.
Again, I can't condone that. However, if you're in some sort of a pageant, I guess that's to be expected. I don't know. Am I supposed, Joan, am I supposed to be more upset about this?
And
like, it's not exactly the most presidential thing to do.
The most presidential.
But presidential behavior went out the window with Bill Clinton. I'm sorry. So just, you know, all the pearl clutchers, just stop. Anyway, all right. 6 o'clock, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. I'll never call you Miss Piggy, Joan.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's 6 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. Now 6 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A group of 3 federal judges have blocked a new congressional map in Texas, saying that it's racially gerrymandered. That new map would have likely flipped 5 congressional seats from Democrat to Republican.
Governor Greg Abbott says he'll appeal to the Supreme Court, claiming the ruling undermines the authority the U.S. Constitution assigns to the Texas legislature. Earlier this month, Governor Gavin Newsom led a campaign to change California's congressional map to offset the expected losses in Texas. Newsom responding to the Texas ruling, saying Trump and Greg Abbott played with fire, got burned, and democracy won.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. We're also hearing that Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is going to appeal another federal judge's ruling that ordered National Guard troops out of Memphis. In the meantime, during the appeal process, the National Guard troops will stay right where they are, supporting the Memphis Safe Task Force. Here in Nashville, Kamala Harris was supposed to endorse Aftyn during her book tour stop at the Ryman Auditorium yesterday, as per the New York Times. But Bain appeared on that stage before the start of the event and then told attendees she had another stop to make and left. Kamala Harris then appeared on stage and did not endorse Aftyn. Rather, she encouraged Democrats to go out and vote. Got a quick reminder here that the CMA Awards are taking place tonight at the Bridgestone Arena. Ceremonies at 7 p.m., but road closures have already started. They're all around the arena, and they'll run all the way through tomorrow. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Investors failed again Tuesday to find the brake pedal. The Dow Jones fell another 500 points and closed at its lowest in over a month. The Nasdaq gave up 1.2%. The S&P fell 0.8%, its fourth consecutive decline. decline. European markets likewise continued their sell-off Tuesday. The pan-European stock 600 down 0.2% overnight. Investors there, as here, are on edge with concerns over AI-related stock valuations front and center. The Trump administration is giving a $1 billion loan to the owner of Crane Clean Energy Center to restart that Pennsylvania power plant in 2027. The facility used to be called 3 Mile Island and was the site of a partial nuclear meltdown in 1979. Instagram and WhatsApp will not be going anywhere. Meta, which owns Facebook, has beaten back an antitrust lawsuit brought by the FTC. A judge has ruled that Meta does not hold a monopoly on social networking. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures this morning pointing up. We've got Dow futures plus 82, NASDAQ futures gaining 121, and S&P futures are up 26. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got a crash in Talbot's Corner, 24 on the westbound side before I-65 North split exit 46A and B. That crash takes out the right lane this morning. And we're also hearing from some drivers there from Super Texters that there's a wreck on 24 West before Trinity Lane as well. Now, otherwise this morning in Belmead, Harding Pike at Woodmont Boulevard, that's a crash scene. You also have one this morning on 40 westbound Pegram, Tennessee, just before McCrory Lane, exit 192. It's on the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. You heard Joan talking about, this is one of the best stories that I've heard in a long time, where, and we're going to ask Matthew Hurt all about this coming up at 6:35 here on Nashville's Morning News. But Kamala Harris shows up in Middle Tennessee, shows up for some sort of a get out the vote event or rally. And Aftyn Bain, who is also there, leaves 5 minutes before Kamala Harris gets there. And then Kamala Harris does not endorse Aftyn Bain. And something is going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if something is about to drop with Aftyn Bain, but somewhere, somebody within the Democrat Party believed that Kamala Harris should not give an endorsement to Aftyn Bain. And so I want to know why. Because either they know something is about to drop with Aftyn Bain, or they know that this is going to be a devastating loss in a seat, 7th Congressional District, that they're trying to flip. And so they don't want that big loss stink on Kamala Harris. I don't know. Or they just forgot. But it doesn't seem, if you've got Aftyn Bain, who literally left 5 minutes before the former vice president of the United States was going to be there, something happened. Something happened, and I don't know what it was. Maybe Matthew Hurt knows, but somewhere down the line, Aftyn Bain actually lost the endorsement of Kamala Harris. That's the only way that I can see it. Can you, Sam or Joan, keep an eye on Kamala Harris's social media to see if she says, oops, with all the fun and excitement, we forgot to endorse Aftyn Bain. We're going to do that now. But remember, no on-stage photo opportunity between Aftyn Bain and Kamala Harris as well. That's number one. Number two, don't forget that Jasmine Crockett couldn't be bothered to fly into town for that whole town hall. Oh, I know they blamed the flight issues because of the shutdown and the air traffic controllers, whatever. But it seems to me like if this was important enough, they would have figured out a way to get Jasmine Crockett to Middle Tennessee for an in-person. But instead, we got the shoe closet. So there you go. So I don't know. Something is up. If somebody, any of my friends within the state legislature know what happened, or if you know the behind-the-scenes palace intrigue as to why it is that Kamala Harris refused here in the middle of early voting for the 7th, refused to endorse the Democrat running. I don't know, man. Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, Donald Trump. Lots going on. Of course, you have CNN. It is on here in the studio. Can I ask this question? What do you think the Democrats are going to start harping on now that Trump has completely dismantled their, he is trying to protect the pedophiles narrative? Now what are they going to do? Now what are they going to complain about? I love what the president posted yesterday. I don't care when the Senate passes the House bill, whether tonight or at some other time in the near future. I just don't want Republicans to take their eyes off of the victories that we've had, including the great, big, beautiful bill and all those tax cuts. Closed borders, no men in women's sports or transgender for everyone. Ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, on it goes. And so the president, of course, ending it with Make America Great Again. He's had several of these kinds of posts. Well, we talked about this, he was asked about all of this yesterday, and he has said once again, I don't know how many different ways Trump can say, release the Epstein files. I don't care, just release them. Just don't take your eye off the ball. So, of victories for the Republicans. And so for President Trump, I mean, this is turning into a win-win because the Democrats are the ones that have been getting money from Jeffrey Epstein for years now. This is the president, what he had to say yesterday.
I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's is, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you now, I just got a little...
Yep, so that is President Trump, and he just telling it like he sees it. And he's got that, and I like how he patted his pocket, basically saying, I've got a list, and I'm not afraid to share it. Well, who's on that list? Bill Clinton received money from Jeffrey Epstein. Hillary Clinton received money from Jeffrey Epstein. Chuck Schumer, John Kerry, Stacey Plaskett. Now, remember, Stacey Plaskett was the one that was getting questions sent to her by Jeffrey Epstein as she was getting ready to question Michael Cohen. And we already knew that the guy was a predator. Yet they were working hand in hand. Stacey Plaskett was working hand in hand with Jeffrey Epstein. Bart Gordon, another one, Tennessee congressman, Democrat, apparently, on that list of people that have gotten money from Jeffrey Epstein. Way back, that was like in 2006. I will tell you this, that even though he did give mostly to Democrats, he also gave to Republicans like George H.W. Bush and Bob Dole, among just a few others, mostly Democrats, though. So I like what the president is saying. I like what Donald Trump is saying, is that okay, you know what? If you really want to go down this road, Democrats, we can start going down the road. And you know me, I really like when Donald Trump gets aggressive with the Democrats. Because let's be honest, over the past, several weeks or months, the president has been somewhat on defense when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. And so I like that he's going on offense. I like the fact that he's saying, all right, you want to talk about me? That's fine. Let's talk about me. The guy that essentially it sounds like he served as, dropping a dime on Jeffrey Epstein. So I like the fact that Trump is saying, I disconnected from the guy. I thought he was a creeper. Didn't like that he was stealing employees from Mar-a-Lago. And then, of course, all of these other allegations come about, and I wasn't surprised. And what's the first thing Donald Trump did? First thing Donald Trump did was he cooperated with the investigation. And as Donald Trump said, he didn't get any donations from one Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, no, that's all the Democrats. Got a lot more. 6:15 on Super Talk 99.7. Time to check the roads. As far as your weather for today, and by the way, appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. A shower in places this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, warm, and a high of 72. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. This is President Trump talking about Epstein.
As far as the Epstein files I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. Yep. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people.
Yep, that is Donald Trump. So Larry Summers worked for both Clinton and Obama and is now, having to step down from running Harvard because of all of this. Larry Summers apparently was a married guy. Have you seen this part of the story, Joan?
I have.
And
I didn't realize that he was married at the time he was doing this.
Yeah, and he's going back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein asking for advice on his girlfriends. And, I mean, I don't exactly know what it was that Epstein said in return. But, I mean, this was after Larry Summers knew of what he was accused of. So it is just stunning to me that these folks are, they were so close to Jeffrey Epstein and they're just screaming about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, when the reality is they themselves have a lot more to do with Epstein than Donald Trump does. And I think the biggest one, to me, one of the biggest factors is Jeffrey Epstein. You know what? He gave to Bill Clinton. He gave to Larry Summers, who is clearly, again, Clinton and Obama advocate, an ally, if you will. He brought up the name Andrew Weissman. I asked you to remind me, who is Andrew Weissman, Sam?
An attorney and professor, was the assistant United States attorney from 1991 to 2002.
So he was obviously a Democrat?
Yeah,
I mean, Trump brought him up
under Barack. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The other thing that happened yesterday, and CNN is all over this again this morning because they're really trying to sell this. But the other thing that happened was our own Tim Burchett, Tennessee's own Tim Burchett, He was on with Laura Ingraham, had a lot to say.
I suspected when it all goes out, the Democrats in Congress will have to find another shiny object down the road to...
See what I say? What did I say? Tim Burchett. I said, what are the Democrats going to focus on once Donald Trump signs the, the order, if you will, to get all of these Epstein files released, order the Department of Justice to release these things. And by the way, everybody's talking about, oh, my goodness, Donald Trump, it was such a big-time 180. He changed his mind very quickly on Epstein. I don't necessarily know that Trump changed his mind on Epstein. He's actually been pretty... His attitude has always been just release them responsibly. That's what he has always said. But by Trump coming out and saying what he said, that gave, just from a pure political standpoint, that gave all of the Republicans that may have had some misgivings for whatever reason permission to say, yeah, absolutely, release the Epstein files or the emails or the documents or whatever the Department of Justice has. But I like what Tim Burchett has to say, which is, all right, so the Democrats, and this is, I understand we've all been saying the same thing, but Democrats had, Congress and the White House for how long? They had no interest in the Epstein files. And now, all of a sudden, because they think that they can politicize Donald Trump and politicize the Epstein files and try to do political damage to Donald Trump and the Republicans, now suddenly the Democrats care.
Road to kick, and they keep trying to kick Donald Trump, and they haven't been able to do it yet. All they're trying to do, Laura, is to cover up over all the excellent work that President Trump's done. They can't stand that he shut the border down overnight. They can't stand that we're strong militarily. They can't stand that he's ended multiple wars, and their president, they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize basically for a participation trophy.
All right, so obviously Tim Burchett is right. I do love that Donald Trump said basically, folks, we're going to release these files, release them quickly. We need to move on to helping the American people. Very smart. Now, I like Congressman Tim Burchett. He is right when he says that this whole thing is becoming such a huge media story because what the Democrats and the mainstream media, White House press corps, what they're trying to do is distract from all of the negative things that the Democrats have attached their names to. For example, trying to allow illegal alien gang members to stay in our country. Of course, they're taking the brunt of blame for the government shutdown. I could go on and on.
You know, in the past, Schumer could just put out this garbage and filth, and the media would just lap it up like Pavlov's dog. But thank goodness there's folks like yourself, and you've got the podcasters, you got the Benny Show, you got everybody out there who's going after them, is correcting them, and now they've got nowhere to hide. And it's apparent in their reporting by the liberal media, who's even got on them during the bogus shutdown.
I mean, listen, Tim Burchett's not wrong. Now, my favorite part of the story is that with some of these document dumps, what do we find out? We find out that none other than Hakeem Jeffries, that's right, House Minority Leader, the one that has been saying that, Donald Trump and the Republicans are a pedo protection unit, I believe is what he said. Well, it turns out Hakeem Jeffries and other Democrats, including the ones that I just mentioned, Hillary Clinton and some of these other folks, Bill Clinton, who have been getting money from Jeffrey Epstein in the past. Well, it turns out that Hakeem Jeffries was asking Jeffrey Epstein for money as well, at least according to Representative James Comer.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch.
And by the way, that was apparently after Epstein pleaded guilty for procuring a child for prostitution. These Democrats have no shame.
They love the files under.
What's that?
I was going to say they love to protect the pedophiles. That's why they're trying to change the sexual identity to minor attracted persons.
Mm-hmm.
The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that.
So there you go. Sorry about that. So there you go. That is Representative James Comer, a Republican out of Kentucky. And if he wants to do an investigation into Hakeem Jeffries, all I'm going to say is why not? They said in the email correspondence, they said that Hakeem was the Brooklyn Barack. Is that what they called him? Hakeem Jeffries, a rising star in the Democrat Party. And again, when you look at who it is that Jeffrey Epstein gave to, whole bunch of Democrats, and yes, some Republicans as well. It is 6:23 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan?
Yeah, an unusual death aboard a Carnival cruise ship is now coming unraveled. We've got the investigation coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 623 Window Nation. Listen, it's going to get really cold really soon. And so you need to make sure that that hot air stays in your home, that cold air stays out. Window Nation is going to help you do just that. Take advantage right now of Window Nation's end-of-year sale going on through the month of November. 50% off all window styles. And you could get 0% interest financing for 5 years. That is huge. Now, I've got 4 Window Nation windows in my home. I've got 2 in my downstairs basement studio, 1 in my kitchen, and 1 in my bedroom. And they've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and they've got a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 5-star reviews, including from me. 866-90-NATION. Don't forget, these are great replacement windows from Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's end-of-year sale going on right now. Such a great deal. Upgrade your home. 50% off all window styles, and you could get 0% interest financing for 5 years. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com.
Good morning. It's now 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Nashville Council has approved a resolution last night. It would allow Metro Police to apply for a state grant for more resource officers in Nashville schools. Right now, there are 80 SROs, but Chief John Drake tells WSMV4 there are staffing shortages, and that means only 9 of the elementary schools are getting SROs.
It's going to be realistic one day, but we have an entire city to police, a growing city, growing up about 100 people a day, houses going up everywhere, apartments going up everywhere, businesses everywhere, and so it's a lot of demands on our time, and so we're trying to get there, but it's just we got to balance the entire city as well.
Now, all the high schools have at least 2 SROs, and all 31 middle schools are also covered. The investigation into the death of an 18-year-old Florida high school cheerleader is apparently coming to a close. Anna Kepner's body was discovered wrapped in a blanket and stuffed under the bed of a Carnival cruise ship earlier this month. She had been on vacation with her family.
According to a court document filed on Monday, Kepner was on the cruise ship with her father, stepmother, and step-siblings. Lawyers for the stepmother saying one of her minor children may now face criminal charges. The filing saying currently there is an investigation being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigations arising out of the sudden death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner.
ABC's Victor Akendo there. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:32, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Imagine if your Wi-Fi was a lot smarter. Now just picture this. Your TV, your phone, your laptop, even that fancy fridge working together to make life easier. Well, Xfinity makes that dream a reality. Devices so in sync that you'd think that they're telepathic. Really smart Wi-Fi that knows when your device needs a boost. The best equipment to stream 4 games at once with multi-view. And Xfinity Mobile that gives you Wi-Fi where you need it, and yes, 5G everywhere else. That is the magic of Xfinity. It is seamlessly in tune with you. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Remember, with Xfinity, I was a customer for many, many years. Then I became an endorser because I'm really happy with their product. To get started, call them. Find them online, Xfinity.com. That is Xfinity.com, or drop into an Xfinity store today.
Is it on? Can you hear me, Matthew?
You on?
All right, I won't be able to hear you till we go live, but I just want to make sure that you can hear me, so we're all good to go. Like the stash, by the way, very becoming of you.
Watch it southbound on 65 in Millersville, right at Louisville Highway, exit 98. A crash has the left lane blocked off. Talbot's Corner westbound on 24, just before the I-65 North split. You've got a crash that's in the right shoulder. Talbot's Corner 65 south at Trinity Lane. That's an accident scene in the right shoulder. And the right lane of I-40 westbound at McCrory Lane. That one is blocked off this morning, that right lane, by a crash as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.636, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to Matthew Hurt joining us via Zoom today. Matthew, hope you are doing well. And man, so much to talk about. Number one, and by the way, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see Matthew Hurt, from what I understand, rocking a mustache. Is that, from what I understand, Matthew, you're now rocking a mustache? I don't hear anything at all. Is he there? Am I supposed to be hearing him?
Yeah. Matthew, can you hear us?
Okay. So this is going to be great. Hey, Joan.
Yes.
Let's talk.
I don't have a mustache.
Let me talk to you.
Okay. I'm always the alternate choice.
You know what? I know. Do you know how many syndicated shows that I have filled in for over the years? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Although, listening to me, I wouldn't syndicate me either. There you go.
Just stop.
This is probably why. Is Matthew Hurt? Well, why don't we just call him if we can't figure out how to, because I've got a lot that I want to talk to him about, especially that whole Aftyn Bain thing. So go ahead and just call him. We don't have to do the whole Zoom thing because it's going to be a long.
It will be.
It's gonna be, I can go on. I know we're going to have him in like 30 seconds. So
of course.
I could sit here and tap dance.
All right. I will get him on the phone since we can't get this to work.
Okay, very good. It's funny, Joan, is we've been doing this now for a couple of weeks with the Zoom.
Oh, with the Zoom, and all of a sudden it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
It's an unreliable science.
It is. We can put a man on the moon, but apparently we can't, we can't tell Matthew Hurt, explain to him how to, do a simple Zoom call, Matthew.
See, something's wrong with the
equipment. Is something going on? Is he there? Check, 1, 2.
Quiet. Piggy. I'm here now.
Okay, so
we don't need the phone.
Okay, all right.
Oh my God, what is happening?
We'll see how it goes. You can hear me on the Google Meet?
Okay, so Matthew, we have you, I guess, on Google Meets, so we don't need you on the telephone. All right, Matthew, real quick. So Aftyn Bain, I don't know if you've been hearing, but in the yesterday, I guess it was yesterday afternoon or last night, whenever it was, Kamala Harris comes into Tennessee. She's on her book tour, and literally, she and Aftyn Bain, their paths cross, but they didn't actually meet on stage, and Kamala Harris didn't give her an endorsement, and Aftyn Bain left 5 minutes before Kamala Harris shows up. So, Matthew, I got to ask this question. What do you think is going on? Why is Aftyn Bain not getting the endorsement of Kamala Harris?
Dan, these events are highly scripted. I heard you talk about this in the last segment, and it is incredibly unlikely that Kamala Harris and Aftyn Bain did not have a conversation. I've watched this race. I've watched this race in Tennessee 7. I know that the Cook Political Report has shifted it from definitely Republican to leans Republican. I don't think there's anything going on that will surprise voters in December when voters go to the polls. But this is definitely some political maneuvering on the back end. Perhaps Kamala Harris not wanting to take credit for a loss in December heading into the midterm.
See, that's what I said. I said that a couple of things. Number one, is that, yeah, we believe, and I'm hoping that it's going to be a blowout, but maybe Kamala Harris didn't want that Aftyn Bain loss stink on her. But what does that tell you about the chances of Aftyn Bain? If she is so far behind, if she's so far behind, then now we've got, I'm hearing myself in my headphones. Now what we've got is Kamala Harris. She couldn't even help Aftyn Bain.
Well, the important thing to note is, again, the momentum has to be, for the Democrats, the momentum has to be on their side to make the case to voters in 2026. We saw just a few weeks ago in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia, Democrat momentum was and enthusiasm were high. More Democrats turned out in Virginia than they did in 2021, fewer Republicans. So this race in Tennessee 7 doesn't fit or will not fit the narrative. Now, that is not to say your listeners should stay home. Conservatives and Republicans have to go out and vote in this election. Elections don't just happen without voters in most places, and it is so important. So you can't be complacent. And in fact, this is an important race to run up the numbers. If Donald Trump won this district by 10 or 15 points, then the Republican needs to win by 15 or 20 points. Again, that would squelch the narrative from New York, New Jersey, and Virginia from a few weeks ago.
Matthew, is it possible there might be something, sort of bubbling under the surface here in Tennessee where maybe it didn't necessarily have anything to do with the possibly election results, but maybe there's something about to drop about Aftyn Bain. And they were like, you know what, we're hearing what's going on, and we don't want, that stink on Kamala Harris. Could it be something like that as well?
Anything could happen. I don't know Aftyn Bain as a candidate as well as I'm certain your listeners do and the voters do as these issues have played out in the media. But it is certainly, there are a number of reasons why a top-tier endorser, somebody like Kamala Harris, would not come out in support and might even change last minute. And so, in Virginia, we had the J. Jones text messages, which were scandalous. I don't know if it's anything like that, but it certainly raises eyebrows. Why won't the Democrats send in the cavalry to back this candidate in this race? And it's clearly from the onset, it's just clearly that this is such a strong Republican district. That said, Democrat enthusiasm is high, and Republicans have to go out and vote.
All right, let's move on. We've got President Trump and the visit from Mohammed bin Salman, and of course, very controversial. People bringing up, of course, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. I have not yet done a deep dive into Jamal Khashoggi, but talk a little bit about just this trip. I think that one of the things that President Trump is doing is I think that he is trying to bring in investment into America. And so if some other things have to take a backseat, well, then so be it.
One of the important things that a president can do when he or she meets with important world leaders is have tough conversations. Those conversations don't always make it into the headlines. What you'll get from an Oval Office meeting is what they call a readout, and that's where the press operation in the White House just tells you what they talked about. I would say if President Trump is meeting with any world leaders, he has an infinite number of things that he can discuss, that they can discuss. It's important to generate investment in the United States, but it's also important to have those tough one-to-one conversations. I think this is something where that New York brash attitude that President Trump has is very helpful and could allow him to say things behind the scenes that he either wouldn't be able to say in front of the cameras or that reporters like the ones you showcased in the last segment wouldn't be able to report fairly because Orange Man is bad.
Yeah, one of the things is we talk about where President Trump is going. You and I have spoken about it quite a bit, obviously, and that is this concept of affordability. And I have noticed a pivot. I'm going to ask you the question, then I got to jump to traffic, then we'll come back and answer the question. But it seems to me like Trump is pivoting from the world stage, and I'm putting that in air quotes, from the world stage back to the American stage where he's talking about affordability and really trying to highlight the wins. We'll talk about that coming up next, 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Hmm. 6:45, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll just keep it to the phone, actually. Matthew Hurt is joining us. All right, Matthew, so real quick, we were talking earlier, just before the traffic report, about, the politics of what is going on right now with affordability. And I have noticed, just since Marjorie Taylor Greene may have, really pushed the envelope, I've noticed that President Trump is focusing more these days on affordability and the economy and wins.
Dan, this is a great point. This is something that President Trump is pretty good about, listening to the base. We've seen this where if issues bubble up enough, his team, his social media team, the people that he surrounds himself with are highly attuned to the people who supported and got Donald Trump across the finish line in the last election. And I think this is a signal. Somebody like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, even though he called her Marjorie Trader Greene, last week, I think that was, again, that's his style. Yeah. I do think that he's hearing enough about it that it is causing a change. And as you and I talked about the last time I called into the show, this is something important. He's listening. All he has to say, and obviously the policies come with it, but what he has to say is, I hear what you're saying. I understand the plight of people trying to make the mortgage and trying to buy groceries, and we are working on it. And there are a number of things the president can do. There's even more things a Republican president can do with the Republican House and Senate that would show that he's engaged in affordability. That was one of the huge issues in Virginia in the last election. Democrats ran on affordability, and they are implementing a wave, or they will implement a wave of unaffordable policies early next year. So that's the contrast. A president who is listening, who's paying attention, and who's enacting conservative policies accordingly, versus Democrats who don't want to make things affordable and will in fact push radical policies to make it highly unaffordable.
One of the things that really has blown up since last week, the last time I had you on, was sort of this splinter. You've got Trump leading MAGA versus what is being called and led by Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, and others as America First. So you've got MAGA and America First. And I just came out with just a little list, right? So if you are America First, you are not all in on Israel. You want the release of the Epstein files, of course. America First, no 600,000 Chinese students coming in, and no need to import talent. If you're MAGA, Donald Trump, you are more pro-Israel. A little more mixed on Epstein and the whole thing. I think most people want the Epstein files, obviously, released, but released responsibly. And Trump wants the 600,000 Chinese students, and he wants the importing of talent, right? So there does seem to be some very distinct differences between MAGA and America First.
Dan, and this is something that you and I have talked about for months on end about this. There is, when President Trump was first elected in 2016, he ran on this Make America Great Again platform, and there wasn't a lot of depth to it. If I'm being completely honest, I'm going to blow up your super text line with that. There wasn't a lot of depth to it, but as he's in his second non-sequential term, so there's been 10 years almost since Donald Trump first won the election. We're figuring this out. And so places like the Heritage Foundation, America First Policy Institute, Cato Institute, and other think tanks that sort of engage around these policies are building out policies. And there is a difference. This is something that I say to people all the time. The Republican Party is the only party that supports and actually encourages a broad range of right-of-center viewpoints, so that you can even have a difference between Make America Great Again and America First. I'm a small L libertarian. I got involved in politics in the Ron Paul movement. I am skeptical of foreign aid to Israel or Ukraine or for any country. And once you get to D.C., though, elected officials tend to change their tune on foreign assistance and foreign aid. So we're seeing that schism. But I do think that, again, the Republican Party is the only vehicle in American politics that allows for that broad range of discourse and debate.
You know, one of the things, and somebody asked me this question, I'll go ahead and give you the softball, you know, the layup here. Which party is a bigger train wreck right now, the Democrats or the Republicans? Obviously, it's the Democrats.
Yeah, I think that's the answer I would give you. Republicans, again, I think it took some maneuvering on the Epstein files through Congress. I think Thomas Massie deserves a huge round of applause for his work. I think people like Nancy Mace and others really pushed that issue, and I think it is okay to have that conversation. I think what we're going to find out in the Epstein files is this disproportionately impacted Democrats. You mentioned in the last segment, Dan, from California, Bart Gordon, who was chairman of the Science Committee back when I was growing up in Murfreesboro. So when Democrats held the House in the early 2000s, he was a very important member of the House of Representatives for the Democrats. He was like third or fourth in line behind the Nancy Pelosi of that day. And so these individuals who are disproportionately impacted by support for Jeffrey Epstein are going to be Democrats. It's okay to release those files.
Real quick, last one. Yesterday, Donald Trump and Elon Musk had a bit of a moment there where Trump gave him kind of like a playful little tap. Is the dynamic duo back together?
Well, we saw them a couple of months ago interact at an event. I know I talked about it on the show with you. I definitely think, again, of the two vehicles, the two political vehicles through which people can act in the United States, the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, the Republican Party is one that is going to be most attractive to Elon Musk in the political reality we exist in. Donald Trump is the president in that party. He's the leader of that party. And Elon Musk wants to advance a lot of the policies that go along in that party, and I think he'll continue his support for Republicans and Republican candidates. It's good news to see him back in the White House.
So I'm trying to figure out, is your mustache a porn stash or a cop stash?
Whoa. Well, you know, weird that you ask that, Dan. Last Tuesday on Veterans Day, I know I came on the show on Veterans Day. I went out with a buddy of mine who is a veteran. He served in the U.S. Navy. And as I was leaving the bar, someone thanked me for my service. I get a lot of people who think I'm a CIA or FBI up here. It's a tight haircut, and I got lazy last week and didn't shave it. So we're going to see how it goes all the way through Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Total cop stash.
Is that a cop stash?
Oh, totally.
Okay, just so folks know, if you're watching us on YouTube, Talk TV, whatever the heck it is, Matthew is debuting his new mustache.
Keep it, Matthew.
Yeah, this is the world debut on video of this, whatever this is on my face.
All right, Matthew, always great to have you on, and we'll talk to you again soon. Matthew Hurt there on WTN. So you're calling that a cop stash?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
See, that the tight, like he said, the tight haircut, the mustache, he does look very...
So I did a mustache for a very short period of time.
Oh, you did?
I sure did.
Yeah, and did you rock it?
Amy liked it, and she was like the only one.
Oh.
So, and I just decided, you know what, I just look too weird.
She's the only one that matters when it comes to that, though.
Yeah, but, you know, with Amy, of course, you know that I can't do any wrong with my...
Oh, right.
Oh, never.
Sure,
She
Dan.
loves me no matter what I look like. That's her story, and she's sticking to it. So there you go. Let's see here. But most people seem to like Matthew Hurt's mustache, actually. So a lot of thumbs up with Matthew's mustache. That's good if you want to check it out. If you're driving in the car and you're yelling at the radio, check us out on YouTube. Find us on YouTube. Find us on X, 997WTN.com, Facebook, and all the other social medias. You can stream us. You can watch us, whatever. It is 6:53 on Super Talk. And let's see here. 0198. Dan, is your haircut Mr. Clean or Kojak? Whatever. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not little old man. Definitely not that.
No, it's not little old man.
It'd be the ring around the side of the head.
Anyway, it is 6:54, and Joan, what's coming up?
It's being called a big deal what President Trump bestowed on Saudi Arabia last night at the White House black tie dinner. Also, the Boring Company has just moved in some big new equipment for the tunnel. We'll tell you about it coming up at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Now, I keep asking Joan about all the big tunnel and all that, the tunnel equipment and all that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, Aftyn Bain to have her Tiananmen Square moment and just get right in front of Elon Musk's big equipment and just be like, nope, not letting you in. Millionaires and billionaires and all that kind of stuff.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be. It'd actually be pretty funny. Listen, she would get a lot of publicity.
Well, part of what they've got down there now is a conveyor belt, so they could just put her on the conveyor belt and conveyor right out the parking lot.
I would pay to see that. All right, 6:55 on WTN. Dan Mandis here for my buddy, Dr. Jeff Horn. Listen, if you've been putting off getting your vision fixed, don't wait any longer. It is not too late to see clearly for the holidays. Don't miss a single smile around the dinner table this year. If cataracts or cloudy vision are making your world look blurry, Dr. Horn at Vision for Life, he can help you see. He can help you see your family and the holidays the way that they are meant to be seen. Now, Dr. Horn performed my lens replacement surgery earlier this year. I can tell you firsthand, man, the difference is incredible. The procedure really takes just about 5 minutes. Recovery is fast, and the results, they are life-changing. So there's still some consultations available heading into the holidays, but they are filling up fast. So if you want to see clearly for the holidays, 615-436-2020. Call them, 436-2020. Find them online, visionforlife.com. Tell them Dan Mandis so that to reach out. Dan Mandis here. Loan Pronto. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? You can do that with Loan Pronto. Now, right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest prices in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and yes, even skip your next 2 house payments. Call them, 615-499-5780. Rates right now at a 3-year low, so act right now. 615-499-5780. Find them online anytime, loanpronto.com, for your free instant home appraisal. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, visit nmlsconsumeraccess.org. 6:59, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 89.7 WTN. All right, coming up next, Brian Wilson has to get out of bed 2 days in a row. He's going to join us here for the Wednesday segment that we do with Brian Wilson.
He'll get to sleep a little longer today, though.
A little bit longer. That's right. He didn't have to get up so early this morning as he did yesterday when he filled in for me, mercifully filled in for me. So we'll talk to Brian coming up next. Brian, if you're listening in queue, I'm going to ask you this question because I'm obsessed with it. Kamala Harris comes all the way to Tennessee, does not appear on stage with Aftyn Bain, or did not give an endorsement. Kamala Harris did not endorse Aftyn Bain. So weird. Why did she come all the way to Nashville then? So we'll get Brian's opinion on a whole bunch of stuff coming up next on WTN.
Good morning. Now 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Big deal at the White House on Tuesday as President Trump hosted Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for trade and business talks during the day, and then a black-tie dinner. And at the dinner, the president announced Saudi Arabia is getting a new designation.
I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally.
Now, that makes Saudi Arabia the 20th nation to hold major non-NATO ally status. And that status is viewed as a powerful symbol of the strength of the relationship between the U.S. and a foreign partner. Both chambers of Congress approved it. Now it's up to President Trump to sign the bill to release all of the Justice Department files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The House passed the bill nearly unanimously.
The yeas are 427. The nays are 1.
Only one lawmaker voted no, Republican Clay Higgins, who voiced concern about the privacy of the victims and people mentioned in the files who have not been criminally implicated. Higgins writing, if enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. The Senate then approving the measure almost instantly.
ABC's Lionel Moisey there. New this morning, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers now says he'll resign from the board at artificial intelligence startup OpenAI. It comes after email exchanges between Summers and Jeffrey Epstein were released. Now, he announced his intention to step back from public commitments yesterday, but has said that he'll fulfill his teaching obligations at Harvard. However, Senator Elizabeth Warren is now calling on the university to sever its ties with him. Now visible in the state capitol's downtown parking lot, 2 steel towers linked by a beam. It's the rock removal system for the Music City Loop.
The machine includes 18 miles of conveyor belt loop for the 9-mile tunnel, moving more than 33,000 pounds of rock every minute. That material, according to the boring company, will be hauled to approved disposal or recycling sites.
That's News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry. Excavated rock will become the property of the Tennessee Department of Transportation for use in state projects. Meantime, Tesla is now testing its full self-driving cars in the Vegas Loop for the very first time. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Couple of rough days on the market yesterday and the day before, but looks like things are looking up for this morning. We've got Dow futures up 101 right now. NASDAQ futures gaining 112. The S&P futures are up 25. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Trouble on 65 North in Franklin this morning. There's a crash blocking the HOV lane at Murfreesboro Road, exit 65, and that's causing quite a delay behind it. Also, West End Avenue at 17th. You've got an accident there. 17th Avenue North, make that. Westbound on 24 in Talbot's Corner, watch for a crash in the right shoulder at the I-65 North split, and a crash reported in Madison on 65 North at Dickerson Pike exit 90A. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to a Wednesday. Brian, it feels like a Tuesday for me because I didn't have to work on Tuesday.
Yeah, you had a great, somebody just stepped up for you, didn't they?
Sure did. Thank you for answering the phone. And so for people that don't know, I was out yesterday sick. I called Brian. By the way, Brian, you spread some fake news about me yesterday.
What's that?
You said that I called you at 12:50 in the morning.
I think that's right.
It's 12:48, my friend.
Okay, well.
It was 12:48.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake
I see
news.
how it is.
I'm totally kidding, Brian. Thank you for coming through.
No, it was well, it's one of those things where, when the phone rings at 12:50 in the morning, it's probably not good news. So that was the worst part of it. But I will tell you, the difference between getting up at 2:45 and getting up at 5:45 is like the difference between chicken salad and chicken poop. I mean, I really enjoyed the 3 hours of extra sleep I got today.
Yes, indeed. All right, down to business. So we've been talking about Kamala Harris. So just so we're clear, you've covered presidential campaigns and local campaigns forever. So can you see a situation where any reason why Aftyn Bain and Kamala Harris would not even take a picture together yesterday?
This is really interesting.
It is bizarre.
And, I mean, when you think about it, look at who she has had in to support her campaign. I mean, Jasmine Crockett came in.
Well, she did and she didn't. She didn't come in. She was on Zoom.
Right. So that's right, Zoom. And then you have apparently an endorsement from David Hogg.
Oh boy.
So I mean, why would you not want to meet with Kamala Harris? Well, she's. I think this is a sign that number one, she doesn't. She's not a help to the campaign. If it was a help to the campaign, they would have done it. But I think they have determined it's not a help to the campaign. It's a detriment to the campaign. She is not popular in the state of Tennessee. And you know that Van Epps would immediately take that and turn it into a 30-second commercial. So they decided basically to forego the endorsement, it would seem to me. And this is, a lot of people are saying, Kamala snubbed Aftyn Bain. No, I don't think that's the way it was at all. I think Aftyn Bain snubbed Kamala Harris.
I find that interesting, and I thought about that, and we talked about this in the 5 o'clock, where, so which one is the bigger train wreck, right? Is Kamala Harris the bigger train wreck? Or is Aftyn Bain the bigger train wreck?
It's not good for either one, quite frankly. I mean, you're walking away from, what some people believe will be the next presidential nominee from the Democrats. I mean, it could be. I don't think that will happen, but some people say it could happen. So, I mean, she's one of the key leaders of the party.
Right.
She was the presidential nominee in the last election, and you don't want to be seen with her? So I don't think it bodes well for Kamala Harris, and I think it's an embarrassment for her campaign.
So here's where I went with this whole thing, and that is an angle. My angle is that she is going to lose. Aftyn Bain is going to lose so badly that they don't want that losing stench on Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris said, I'm not going to endorse her, and I'm not even going to appear on stage with her because she's going to run in 2028 for 2028, and she doesn't want that. Oh my gosh, I came out to Tennessee and I endorsed Aftyn Bain, and she got crushed.
That might be it. I'm looking at the numbers though, and I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous about this election because I think the Democrats are motivated, and I think Republicans are not as motivated.
Yeah,
and you know, this, yes, the district is drawn in a way that would be helpful to Republicans, I would say, but what if? I mean, what if the Republicans don't show up and the Democrats do? Right. Can she still win? And I think the numbers are, yes, she could still win. I haven't looked at any polling data. I'm just saying that when I saw the raw numbers, it was a little bit concerning to me about where that race stands.
Well, Democrats are running off of anger, of course, as you know, and
anger gets people to the polls, though. If you're angry, I mean, witness the last election.
It sure does. No, you're right. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes with Aftyn and Kamala Harris. Exactly.
Well, they're certainly not saying, are they?
Oh, no. I think the whole thing just reeks of scandal. All right, moving right along.
All right.
Epstein. I know you covered Epstein appropriately yesterday.
Ad nauseum yesterday because it was the big story. And, you know, 427 votes in the House and a unanimous consent in the Senate. This measure goes to the president's desk. He signs it, and we will get the documents. Although, in reading it, this is the thing that I don't understand. Well, we'll give you all the unclassified documents.
Right.
Okay, well, there's a big gaping hole because all you have to do is take a document and say it's now classified, and you will never see it.
Right.
This is what I was saying yesterday. I think that a lot of people are going to look at it and say, no matter what you do and what documents you release, there are a great number of people who say, well, we didn't get them all. And when you are not handing over, some of these key documents, or you put a big way to block these documents from being released by making them classified, then I don't think we are getting the whole truth. The bottom line is, I don't think there's any there. I never have thought there's any there for Donald Trump. I think this is deeply embarrassing to a lot of people, some of them Republicans, some of them Democrats. I think this is something that is going to be uncomfortable for some people, but I don't think Donald Trump is among those people.
No, as a matter of fact, one of the things that I said is there's more proof that Donald Trump did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Because you look at all the day that it was Monday, and these emails come out, right? The Epstein emails. And all these leftists are saying that Donald Trump is somehow implicated in this. I looked at it as just the opposite. The Democrats actually cherry-picked these emails to release to make Donald Trump look bad. And to me, all they did was, they're nothing but innuendo. And they did prove that Jeffrey Epstein was working with the New York Times and other journalists to try to disparage Donald Trump with these. Right. I've got a picture of Donald Trump in a room with a bunch of bikini-clad women. Well, okay, you're in Florida and you're a couple of rich dudes. Tell me where he did something wrong.
And he also ran beauty pageants, did he not? Donald Trump, he ran beauty pageants at one point.
Yes,
there are going to be pictures of him with women in bikinis.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. So to me, the whole Epstein thing, you're right. There's going to be a lot of folks that will say that it's not enough. There's still a cover-up. But I think that Trump was smart to just immediately pivot. And I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene had anything to do with this, but President Trump immediately pivoted to release everything. Put it on True Social. He's got the comments out there as well, talking to the media. Release everything. And I think part of the reason why he did that is because he does want them to be released. He wants this distraction to be put to bed. But he also needed to give Republicans some cover, if you will, by saying, okay, so Republicans, go ahead and please vote to release these so that in the midterm elections, you're not on record as saying, well, you can't be accused of trying to protect pedophiles.
Right. Right. And listen, I think it's really interesting what's going on with the Epstein thing. I don't think Donald Trump has an exposure here. And I'm sure that, but what I think is in there, and there's 65,000 pages already out. And now we're going to get the rest of them except for the classified documents.
Right.
Right. I don't understand. That's just a great Washington trick. We're gonna classify some of these documents so you're not going to see them all. But the bottom line is, I don't think he has an exposure here. But if he's mentioned at all, the Democrats will try to twist it and make it sound like they were bosom buddies. Look, I mean, much has been said about this birthday book that he signed. That was in 2003. Before he was arrested in 2007.
Yep.
So, did he know him? Yes. Did they have some kind of acquaintanceship or friendship? At some point, they were at least acquaintances, and they hung out together. Not uncommon for a bunch of billionaires in New York to hang out together.
Right.
But the bottom line is, when things went south, it was done with him.
Yep.
And he severed the relationship.
And he cooperated with the investigation. Got more.
Well, of course
Wilson
he did. So I just don't think there's that much going on with it.
Absolutely. All right, time to check the roads real quick on WTN. Thank you very much. As far as your weather goes, a shower in places this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, warm, high of 72. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Brian Wilson is joining us. Headline, Brian, from The Hill just about an hour ago. Are Donald Trump's tariffs increasing inflation? The data may surprise you. Well,
I love this story.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the things that everybody says, well, you put the tariffs in place and inflation will run rampant. It hasn't at all. It has stayed at 3%, just where it was when Donald Trump took office. Hasn't gone up at all. And I think as I've pointed out, that if they get the price of gasoline down, that sort of countermands a lot of other things, and it brings the cost of everything down, because it takes fuel to get your product or your service to market. So if you've got the gasoline prices in order, and I think they have, then you keep inflation in check. Yes, certain items are going up, but you get a benefit from the fact that it doesn't cost much to get those things or not as much to get that stuff to market right now. So inflation is in check. It's in good shape. And anybody who says that, tariffs are going to cause inflation, the data are not there. They simply are not there.
All right, so one of the last questions I have, the Democrats, of course, they pivoted from the shutdown now to Epstein. That is going to be put to rest here in the next few minutes or next few days, I believe, once they eventually. Well, was there a timeline? Because, I mean, you're right. The Department of Justice doesn't necessarily have to release everything, obviously.
Yes, but they have to give a report in 15 days about any redactions. Okay, there's another one right there. We're going to still redact this stuff. Well, you look at the redacted documents, and you can your imagination can run wild with what's behind the redactions.
So where are the Democrats going to go next? They went from the shutdown to the Epstein files to what? What do you think their next play is going to be?
I have no idea. They don't make any sense to me at all, but it seems to me that they are a party fundamentally in disagreement with itself. They are a party divided, and as Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And I agree with that. I think they're just in a state of chaos. And I think this whole thing with Kamala, coming full circle here, this whole thing with Kamala, not endorsing, not being seen, I think it's an example of what's going on. I mean, she seems to be, Aftyn seems to be more associated with, the real radicals in the party and not the standard bearers of the party. And I think that fight is going on within Democrats. And as long as they're fighting among themselves, we should just stand back with our arms folded and say, well, this is a great show. Pop some popcorn.
Well, and you look at our problems within the Republican Party, right? You've got Thomas Massie, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, but those are much smaller problems than what you see with regard to the Democrats. The Democrats are in complete meltdown. really they are.
Oh, yeah. One of the questions I asked earlier was and I have been for the last couple of weeks, which party is the bigger train wreck, the Republicans or the Democrats? Clearly, that's going to be the Democrats. We have our disagreements over things like Israel and visas and 600,000 Chinese students, all those things that Donald Trump talked about last week, where there's that difference between America First and MAGA now. It's kind of splintered. But again, to your point, Brian, we're nowhere as dysfunctional as the Democrats or the progressives.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any comparison there. I mean, they are in a complete war with itself. And who's gonna prevail there? I sort of hope that the communists and the socialists prevail, because I think that will be a ideology that Americans will strongly reject every place except New York City.
So is Nate Bargatze going to be bringing with him a new amusement park in Nashville?
Well, let me just say, I'm an unmitigated fan of Nate Bargatze.
Oh, me too.
I love what he does, and I've had the opportunity to meet him and go to one of his shows, and I follow all of his Netflix stuff, and I'm just a big fan because I love comedy, and I love the fact that he does comedy that's clean and hilarious. He's hilarious. I mean, when I went to his show, the next day my ribs hurt. I laughed so hard. It was just a great show. He's a great entertainer. And now he worked at the old Opryland.
Yeah.
And it was his first job. And he loved it, and he wants to see that come back in some form. He won't be with the Opry people. Maybe it will be. I don't think so. He wants to build Nateland. And he wants to make it a place that has an amusement park and a sort of like, think of Universal City. He's going to have a big, if this goes off, he's going to have some kind of big studio for shooting movies, etc.
That'd be cool.
And really increase, a family-friendly fare. I love that whole thing. I think his motivations are good. I think he's immensely talented. And his wife, who apparently is some kind of marketing genius, is going to be really good at taking this idea and running with it.
I love that. And, Nashville does need an amusement park. We've got to go all the way to Dollywood.
I know. I mean, we still pined for the days here in Nashville when we had Opryland.
Right.
Opryland was way more cooler than a mall, but that ship has sailed. The question is, where would it be? And apparently he's looking at different properties in the area, and I think he's going to go forward with it, and I hope he does. And I only think it's a good thing. He is bringing something immensely positive to the entertainment world, and I'm for it 1,000%.
All right, Brian, thank you very much as always, and we will talk to you again next week unless news warrants.
All right.
All right, see you later. Brian Wilson, everybody. It is 7:23 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Nateland.
Nateland?
I'd go to Nateland.
Yeah, sure.
They probably couldn't call it Nate Wood, because that would be
I don't think so, no.
That'd be a clear ripoff of Dollywood.
And we wouldn't want to go down that road anyway.
Why not? It's just a ripoff of Dolly Parton. But no, Nateland sounds a lot better.
I like Nateland.
7:24, Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
James Comey is heading to court today. Not going to get me to say it, Dan. And so much for good cheer at the holidays. Some shoppers around here have been scammed. We've got those stories at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. And I want to tell you about my friends at Stoltzko, a great Tennessee company. They do continue to grow and expand. At Stoltzko, they build pole barns. And these pole barns, they can serve as a garage and event space and equestrian building. You can even live in these barn-dominiums. And so that's what we call these live-in pole barns, barn-dominiums. And these days with Stoltzko, barn-dominiums are new and improved. And I keep saying this, the real estate market is changing. And so if you can find a good piece of land, a good plot of land, and you can put a pole barn on there and live in it, why not? Stoltzko is now offering you turnkey options. That means that they handle the design, the construction, and yes, the amazing finishing touches. You turn the key and you are home thanks to my friends at Stoltzko. But listen, Your new pole barn, it can be used for anything. So if you want to, again, use it as a garage or an equestrian building, whatever, they can help you at Stoltzco. 615-622-5992, 615-622-5992. Find them on Instagram and Facebook as well. Stoltzco.com, Stoltzco, Stoltzco.com. .26 on WTN. Dan Mandis here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They are always looking for ways to help you feel better and save some money in the process. Right now at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they're offering you the great special $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. Again, $12 it is. The November special from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. So if you've got back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, they can help you with no surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Correct. Non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. That is how they are going to help you. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. One more time. 615-246-5009. The website, painisbad.com.
Good morning. It's now 7:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Former FBI Director James Comey is due back in federal court this morning to argue that a judge should throw out his indictment for allegedly lying to Congress.
James Comey's lawyers argue he's being targeted for his outspoken criticism of President Donald Trump, and that the indictment against him is the product of a vindictive prosecution. They're asking a federal judge to dismiss the indictment against him that alleges he lied to Congress in 2020 when he said he didn't authorize the FBI to leak information to the press. If the indictment withstands the judge's scrutiny, he could go to trial in January. From federal court in Alexandria, Virginia, Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Watch yourself at West Nashville Shopping Center on Charlotte Pike. Police there warning that a group of teenagers posing as members of a basketball team have been asking shoppers for donations. But when those shoppers tap their credit cards for, say, a $20 donation, they end up being charged a whole lot more.
It's sad because I'm definitely now untrusting of anyone. I wouldn't have imagined that teenage kids would have done that. Because I'm always the first to give to somebody. I'm very familiar with hard times. Until this point, it's been important to me to give back when someone says they need it.
That shopper, speaking to WSMV4, is out $1,000. Police are trying to identify those teens. They say they'll be increasing patrols there as well. Tennessee U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett asking the public for help identifying a couple of guys who pulled into the driveway of his Tennessee property and then used his driveway as a toilet. He posted video of the episode to his Instagram account, along with a still shot of the license plate of the Jeep that they were driving. Check out that video on his Insta account. It's at Real Tim Burchett, or you can check it out on my Twitter account. I'm at Joan Jones WTN. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so we have a crash in Belmead, Harding Pike at Percy Warner Boulevard. Also one on West End Avenue at 17th Avenue North, and in East Bank, Interstate Drive at James Robertson Parkway. That's the scene of another crash this morning. Very slow on 24 with stop-and-go traffic in the Smyrna and Laverne areas as well. And 65 North is backed up all the way from Spring Hill into Nashville. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:35, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to the Wednesday edition of Nashville's Morning News. Matt Van Epps is joining us in studio, and it's the first time you and I have ever met. How are you?
Dan, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. And I know I've talked about this before, but you were the very first interview we did when we launched this, and I'm so grateful for that, and being able to get our message out and talk about our background, and so excited to be with you this morning.
Well, you guys have so much to offer. But first of all, when last time we spoke on the phone, you talked about how it was it's a rough primary. Let's be honest. It was a rough primary. And so to your credit, you got all of your opponents in the primary together in what you called a bury the hatchet happy hour.
Bury the hatchet. So, I think a couple of things there is that we agreed. I was at an event at Cabaret yesterday in Nashville, and I was in a conversation, and we were reminded of several of those debates and forums we did. I did probably 20. Is that we agreed that we would come together for party unity and support whoever the nominee was.
Yep.
And that was really important to us. And the week after we won, we extended the olive branch to our opponents, and we said, hey, come to a happy hour, and we want to literally bury the hatchet.
And you had everybody sign a hatchet.
We did.
And you brought it in for me, and I think this is awesome. For you folks watching on Super Talk TV, there is the hatchet. Everybody's got signatures on it. I think that was such a great thing, and I love that you did that.
I appreciate
because
that.
It's easy to be. Some people are sore winners in the sense that they just rub it in people's faces and so forth. You didn't. You tried to get everybody unified, and I love that. And we need unity because, of course, you're running against Aftyn in the 7th. Early voting does continue. I want to hit a few things real quick.
Sure.
So, Epstein.
Yeah.
Right now, of course, what's going on with the Epstein files, and the president is apparently going to sign it off some point today. But talk about the Epstein files.
Yeah, I've called for 100% transparency from the very beginning, and I stand 100% with President Trump. And it's the right decision. I would have voted for that to release the files. And I think we need to ensure that the House Oversight Committee continues to have the oversight ability, the subpoena power to dig into anything they need to dig into to get to the bottom of everything. That's what's right. That's what we need to do for the victims of those terrible, heinous crimes.
Yeah.
And the House Oversight Committee needs to have the ability to do that.
Well, they do. I mean, you have President Trump. Part of what he's doing is now he's saying, okay, let's look at who has donated. Jeffrey Epstein, who has he donated to? And shocker, you've got Hillary. You've got Bill Clinton as well. You've got John Kerry. For the most part, a bunch of Democrats, some old-style Republicans as well. But President Trump is like, whose name is not on that list? His. He never got money from Epstein.
Well, and the Democrats had the files for 4 years.
They sure did.
And didn't release it. And, I totally support the president now in this. And I think it's the right decision to be full transparency here.
Yep.
And that's what I'll fight and work alongside the House Oversight Committee to ensure that we can do everything we can to have that subpoena power and to get to the details in the bottom of this.
One of the things that I thought was interesting, the shutdown happens, and then you have all of a sudden this hyper-focus on the Epstein files. I think it's because the Democrats understand that they had the shutdown hanging over their heads. They are going to have the blame for that shutdown. So they immediately go to Epstein. They cherry pick these emails, which, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but basically shows that Donald Trump did not do anything wrong. And that's number one. And number two, it also really brought into sharper focus that Jeffrey Epstein was coordinating with the media to try to take down Donald Trump. So I think this whole Epstein thing is ultimately going to be a nothing burger. What is not a nothing burger is affordability. So let's talk about some issues where the president, it seems like he has really pivoted to talk about affordability.
Absolutely. And we're hearing a lot of that throughout the district, and it's a key and important issue. And so we've talked about housing and power, electric, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute too, but healthcare, childcare, taxes, cutting red tape, and really having to go through the full spectrum of things that we can do and levers we can pull to ensure that we decrease costs. I mean, listen, Biden had 4 years of a porous open border, uncontrolled spending that drove up inflation, and we're fighting that now, and we've had really good outcomes. And there's more to do, though, because affordability is huge. Prices are too high. We've got to drive down cost of living. And one of the areas that we've talked a lot about in the campaign is really through energy and unleashing Americans' energy dominance. I was at a breakfast yesterday morning talking to the electric co-ops, the Tennessee Electric Co-op Association, and that's one of the things that we talked about is that we've got to unleash American power and energy that includes nuclear technology. The Navy has gotten this right. And as an Army guy, it's kind of hard to talk about the Navy sometimes
yes.
positively. But my Navy brothers and sisters, submarines don't have to refuel. They are out there on their mission. Sailors don't get sick. And so they figured out how to do these small modular reactors. And we're going to have the first one at the Clinch River site in East Tennessee that should be online in 2032. We're 500 nuclear plants behind in the power requirement in the country right now. And so this is a step in a good direction and will help with costs at the pump. It helps with our energy security. And it's really important for us to push into nuclear as well as oil and gas.
I love nuclear. I love, obviously, oil and gas. I'm such a big fan of nuclear. People are talking about if Senator Blackburn ultimately ends up as the governor, she has said that she wants to, along with Governor Lee, of course, last time he was on this show, talking about how they do want to expand nuclear energy. And I think that there is such an amazing ability for our state to tap into that. I think that is one of the things that, for me, Marsha Blackburn, if she ends up to be the senator, John Rose as well, the congressman, if they end up being the governor, they need to really focus on that. I think when you talk about affordability, one of the big questions is, okay, so what specifically can President Trump do to make things more affordable? We know that he's battling an interest rate that he wants lower.
Yeah, I think that's a key component. And I think, I would have voted for the One Big Beautiful Now law to lock in the largest tax decrease in American history. We've got to continue to keep taxes low, cut red tape. One of the things that I really like in this term too is I think he has it's either a 10-to-1 ratio, I think, on new regulations. So for one that's created, 10 have to be removed, and that is really important. And I think consumers should know when new regulation comes in, here's the cost that it's going to be incurred. And we've got to continue to fight against that to ensure that businesses. I was talking to a small business leader recently, and they were talking about trying to figure out how to get solve the healthcare problem for their company. And when they're having to go through, they're having to talk to their attorney and their CPA and having to do things for their small business, that all of that adds cost. All those pass through costs, all the things that they have to do. And healthcare is another really, really big issue that we've got to tackle here.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's a couple of really good examples of how the private sector can lead on that. We've seen in Clarksville when government gets out of the way, we have 2 new hospitals that are going in. That's going to increase competition, increase access, decrease cost. And that's a private sector solution there that's really important.
740 coming up on 745. More with Matt Van Epps is coming up next. Time to check the roads on WTN. .45 as far as your weather goes, a shower in places this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and warm. High of 72, feeling like 71. You touched on something that Matt Van Epps joining us. You touched on something that is near and dear to my heart, which is I'm going to air quote this, the Affordable Care Act. Clearly not affordable. And President Trump said the other day he's actually now reaching out to Democrats to try and come up with a solution. Whether there's a solution coming from the Republicans or the Democrats, it is too expensive. Healthcare is too expensive.
It is. Healthcare is way too expensive, and I think the president and the speaker have signaled that they're willing to negotiate and figure out what a solution is there. And I think one of the things that I've heard and been talking about, and matter of fact, I think Newt Gingrich just did an op-ed on this the other day, and it's full price transparency in healthcare, and that's both on the cost side and it's on the quality side. I worked for a short period of time at a healthcare startup here in Nashville. And it was a good example of when the private sector can get involved, then we can reduce costs and increase access. When you have healthcare navigators that are embedded in healthcare, in rural healthcare clinics, helping patients get the procedures, meet with their primary care doctors, ensure that they get their medication on time. It's a really good example. And I think I've met with hospital systems now. I've met with physicians and physician groups, and really trying to learn and understand how can we drive down the cost. And I do think that full price transparency. We had a meeting during the primary with Dr. Art Laffer here in town.
Oh yes,
and I thought we were it was a great meeting, and I really thought we were going to be talking about federal tax policy, and we talked about two things. We talked about property taxes, and we talked about healthcare transparency, and the opportunity there when right now the same plan, same payer, things can cost radically different amounts. And so when the consumer knows that they walk in and they can make a decision based on, okay, this quality outcome for this procedure is this rating and this is the cost. We have informed consumers. That's going to drive down costs, and the delta and the opportunity there is huge.
There's a lot of work to be done. I will say that with healthcare, because it is frustrating. One of the things, and affordability by and large, is something I'm happy that the president has really seemed to turn on a dime, and he has pivoted to affordability. I love that he's doing that. I love that is part of his focus. Remaining moments here with Matt Van Epps. Aftyn Bain has talked about how President Trump, I'm a little confused as to what it is that she's wanting to do. She is sounding the alarm, I guess, that the president wants to privatize the TVA, which is interesting because the people that the president has appointed to the board are not for privatizing the TVA. So I don't know why she is sounding the alarm on the president and Republicans wanting to do this when I don't know if anybody's really talking about this right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure either. And I'm fully supportive of the president's decision here. To the folks that he's nominated to be on the board, going through Senate confirmation, are amazing. It's going to be a great leadership for TVA so that we can keep our costs low. That's so important. Just to go back to that, with AI and the data centers and all of that, AI is with us now, and so we've got to continue to lead as a country so that China and Russia don't set the global standard there. We've got to lead on that. But because all of those data centers are needed, we have this massive power deficit. And so it's so key to keep our power low as we work that from a national security strategy issue, and so that we keep costs low at the pump and for utilities, which is a big for farmers too. I met with 40 farmers 2 weeks ago, and it's really important to have those low energy for feed and fuel and for farms so that we can ensure our farms stay profitable.
How are farmers feeling these days? I know that there was some consternation about President Trump wanting to import beef from Argentina. We're also bringing beef in from Brazil. Some of the farmers were a little upset about that.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think broadly, I think beef cattle farmers are doing pretty well right now, but row crop farmers are struggling. And I think one of the things, China is our most consequential threat, but I agree with the president, and he negotiated a deal to open up Chinese market to soybeans, which is good for farmers in our district. Right now, they built a massive export terminal in Brazil. They've built this railroad to Peru, so they're undercutting us on getting Brazil and their products to the Chinese market faster. And the good thing about that deal is it has to be renewed each year. And so it's a step in the right direction, and we're going to have to do more there to give relief to our farmers, and so that we ensure that farms stay profitable. We also need to get rid of the death tax so farmers can pass down their farms from one generation to the next.
Where are you at on the whole penny thing?
Yeah, that is a good. I haven't really been asked that question. That is it's a fascinating.
Sam and I got into it off there about whether or not it was a good idea to stop producing the penny. I guess for every penny we produce, we're like spending
4 cents to make it.
4 cents to make it. So it makes all the sense in the world that Trump would say, yeah, do away with the penny. And that's, I guess, what we're doing. So I am supportive of that. There's other things that I might disagree with Trump on, but I'm all for no more pennies. Just doesn't seem like it's there's no reason to keep making them, and we're running at a loss.
Well, and I think what separates us two, and when I think about my opponent, is that we have common sense solutions that are going to be good for our families, for our farmers, our communities, military veterans, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to ensure that we drive down costs.
Yeah.
We've got to ensure that we shrink the size of government, and we push government down to the lowest level possible. As a limited government person, I think that's really important, and it's a part of the solution that we have to do to ensure that Tennessee 7 is as strong as possible, and that we support our businesses, and so I'm excited to look at those issues and drive solutions there too.
What is the number one issue? Have you, and we've only got like 30 seconds left, but is there like a number one issue that people are looking at when they come and talk to you?
I think it's affordability. I mean, you brought that up, and I think that's exactly right. And we're really focused on that and ensuring that we drive down costs. When you look at my opponent, she's for taxes, new taxes, tax increases. We're just the opposite of that. We want families to keep more of what they earn, so that they can support their families, and we have strong communities, and that's what we're going to be fighting for. We're going to be.
It is, it's so interesting too, and I've talked about this. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do find it interesting how the Republicans have just grabbed the pro-family movement from the Democrats.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the more, and I've always felt like the Republican Party was pro-family, but, by doing it in such a way that we actually out-sympathize the Democrats, I love that.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to continue to fight for. I've been saying too, I'm so honored to be in this position. I need everyone's vote, need everyone to come out,
yes.
Need the support. This is a turnout election. When we put our jerseys on and get on the field, we win this. And I'm humbly asking for everyone's support and their vote to get out between now and November 26th, and then Election Day on December 2nd. And that's what we're fighting. We're fighting for families.
Yep.
And when we win this, we're going to act like we've never earned it, that we keep fighting hard, because that's what our district, our state, and our country deserve. And I'm excited to take that fight forward.
All right, 752. Remind me the website.
MattForTN.com, MattForTN.com.
All right, thank you very much.
Van, thank you.
Van Epps, always great to have you on. It is 752 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Joe's got the news coming up at 8 o'clock. Joe.
Yeah, Dan, where the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein is going next, we have some details. Also, Governor Bill Lee's plan to fight back after a federal judge ordered National Guard troops to get out of Memphis. That and more at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 754. Mark Spain Real Estate. Listen, sell your home. With Mark Spain Real Estate, you can get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You're going to save time. You're going to make the most money and eliminate all that hassle. Dan Mandis here. Indeed, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to my friends in Nashville, because I know that they are going to sell your home hassle-free and with a strong all-cash offer. You control when you move. It's the greatest thing ever, if I can quote Donald Trump. Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. You can trust, my friends, to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Find them online anytime. It is markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing. 7:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, you know what we are going to do next, Joan?
I'm sorry, do that again.
Do you know what? I ask for so little attention from you.
She just does the news.
All the women in my life, they just love to ignore me, working at home. It's all good. Hey, no problem. What? Hey, Joan, what's this? Hey, Sam, you know what I'm going to do next?
What, Dan?
That's all you got to do, Joan. That's all you got to do. Just feign interest.
Okay. Dan, oh my gosh, what are you going to do next?
I forgot. I'm going to talk to Dustin Kittle about the whole privatizing of the TVA thing. I don't know why I'm obsessed over this story. I've actually got the audio from Aftyn Bain, and it was so really, it really is void of any real facts, and it just seemed like they're trying to fearmonger Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump has not said that he wants to privatize the TVA, and the board members themselves have said that they do not want to privatize the TVA. So it seems to me like what Aftyn Bain is doing, and I'm going to play the audio coming up, it seems like part of what she's trying to do is fearmonger Donald Trump. You know, whether they say, oh, he's, going to start killing journalists, or he is going to cancel everybody's health care, or he's going to cancel everybody's, EBT cards, or he's going to privatize the. Yeah, that's what Nazis do, Joan.
They call reporters piggy.
But you know what? Here's the deal, though. He said little piggy, which little piggies are actually cute. Now, if somebody called me a big fat pig, I would take more, umbrage to that. But if somebody called me a little piggy.
So who got it worse? Catherine Lucy, who was called Piggy, or Mary Bruce, who he just opened an absolute can of whoop-a on?
I think if it's me, I'd be okay with little piggy. What? Why is that wrong? I'd rather be called little piggy than fake news.
Yeah.
Right, Joan?
Well,
Joan and I are journalists.
I think so.
Yeah.
And she's a journalist with a capital J, so, that might hurt her.
Journalist with a capital J?
Yeah.
The only capital J thing I thought I was going to give to her would be the word jackass.
Bleep that man.
It's 8 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. Now, 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're expecting President Trump to sign that bill now on his desk, ordering the Justice Department to release all the files related to sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In the meantime, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer telling Fox Business moments ago he's already subpoenaed banks for Epstein's records.
We'll do like we did in the Biden investigation. We'll be able to follow the money. We'll be able to identify different LLCs and different corporations to see where his money was coming from and where it was going.
Are we going to see the client list?
I don't think there's an actual Epstein list, but if we're able to follow the money, maybe we can construct a list.
I see.
Comer issued subpoenas to J.P. Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank. Chase Bank flagged down 4,700 transactions as suspicious in its own investigation. Meantime, the House voted 209 to 214 last night against formally reprimanding Delegate Stacey Plaskett for her texting affair with Jeffrey Epstein during the House Oversight Committee hearing in 2019. 3 House Republicans voted with Democrats and 3 Republicans voted present, handing the Dems a win on that one. In the run-up to the vote, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin downplayed the text scandal as Plaskett simply taking a call from a constituent. A group of 3 federal judges blocking a new congressional map in Texas, saying it's racially gerrymandered. The new map would have likely flipped 5 congressional seats from Democrat to Republican.
Governor Greg Abbott says he'll appeal to the Supreme Court, claiming the ruling undermines the authority the U.S. Constitution assigns to the Texas legislature. Earlier this month, Governor Gavin Newsom led a campaign to change California's congressional map to offset the expected losses in Texas. Newsom responding to the Texas ruling, saying Trump and Greg Abbott played with fire, got burned, and democracy won.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. We're also hearing that Tennessee Governor Bill Lee is going to appeal another federal judge's ruling that had ordered the National Guard troops out of Memphis. In the meantime, though, during that appeal process, the National Guard troops will stay right where they are. So supporting the Memphis Safe Task Force. New layoff announcement for Middle Tennessee. Automotive parts manufacturer ABC Technologies temporarily laying off 85 employees. The Gallatin company didn't say when those employees would be called back to work. And car maker Honda is recalling 256,000 Accord hybrids due to a software glitch that could cause the loss of power while driving. Honda says dealers will reprogram that software free of charge, but it comes just weeks after Honda also recalled nearly 500,000 Civics because the wheels could fall off the car while in motion. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We're about a half hour before the opening bell here, and the market futures are still on the plus side, really not by much. Dow futures up 58, NASDAQ futures gaining 74, S&P futures are plus 15. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next.
So Joan, you said wheels come. What are you saying? The wheels come off?
Yes, the Honda Civics.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about this radio show.
Oh, no, not yet.
No, not yet. Well, there's still time.
That's true.
Actually.
But now that you're back in the air chair, it could happen at any time.
Listen, I did ask Matt Van Epps. I believe it was a 2.5-minute question. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. I don't know why I can't condense. You know what? Dustin Kittle's coming up.
You'll try
Joan,
it again?
My goal is to ask Dustin Kittle, talking about the privatizing of the TVA.
Yeah.
My goal, every question to Dustin is going to be like 20 seconds.
Sure, Dan.
That's it. No.
Don't make me sit here with a timer, because I will.
Let's see how I do. No question to Dustin Kittle more than 20 seconds.
All
I'm
right.
going to fail this. All right, go. Whatever's next.
Oh, I'm done.
All right, goodbye.
Well, we've got a crash in Brentwood on Edmondson Pike at Old Smyrna Road. Also a crash blocking the left shoulder of 24 westbound in Antioch right before Hickory Hollow Parkway. And then east on 40 in Bellevue. That's a crash at Old Hickory Boulevard West. Got a crash as well in South Nashville on Murfreesboro Pike, east of Foster Avenue, and on Harding Place in Paragon Mills at Humber Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:07 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And good morning to you. Want to say welcome in Dustin Kittle. Dustin is an attorney and a farmer and our guest here on Nashville's Morning News on occasion. And I got to ask, Dustin, so Aftyn Bain wants to warn against the privatizing of the TVA. I want to play some audio, and you deal with the TVA in your role as a farmer and all these other things, and you've got the legal background as well. So I'm just going to play some audio from Aftyn Bain and kind of talk about it as we go along. This is Aftyn Bain running for the 7th.
I wanted to flag something that should be absolutely on your radar, which is happening right now, and that is the ongoing effort to privatize the Tennessee Valley Authority. If we're not paying attention and we don't put up a fight, our utility bills are going to increase exponentially. So right now, the Trump administration and a few Tennessee Republicans are pushing to privatize the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA.
All right, so let me just ask you, Dustin. I mean, I have spoken to one of the board members, and I've spoken to other people, and nobody, I don't know, I mean, putting aside the conversation as to whether or not it should be privatized. We're going to do that in a second, but I'm not seeing that the administration is trying to privatize the TVA.
No, absolutely not. And I think in this situation, you have Aftyn Bain that's essentially trying to use a scare tactic on the voters. And I think at this point, voters see through something like this. So the argument essentially coming from her is we can't allow these entities to relinquish any kind of federal control, and that the federal government knows best. And essentially all that's happened here is that the president has made nominations to fill a board that had empty board seats. And that's exactly what we should want the president to do. We need someone watching over what is essentially a federal corporation. They are on a parallel, really, with the U.S. Postal Service. And you can imagine, which has essentially been the case with a lot of these federal corporations, they've went completely unchecked.
Yeah, I mean, TVA has been accused of, remember when John Rich was on this program several times, in this radio station several times, talking about how the TVA was trying to abscond with people's property. And so for a lot of folks, they will look at the TVA and the federal government and say that it is unchecked federal power. That is a part of that conversation. I want to play a little bit more from Aftyn Bain.
TVA is our public power system, and it's why families across the Southeast have such affordable electricity, flood control, reliable power, and thousands of good-paying union jobs. It doesn't take a dime in federal appropriations, and it was built to lift this region out of poverty for nearly a century, and it's done exactly that. Privatizing TVA means higher electricity bills for every family in this district. It means less public accountability. It means eliminating tuition-free apprenticeship programs. And it means handing control over the power grid to the Billionaire Boys Club, who already have way too much say in our lives.
There it is. There it is, the Billionaire Boys Club. And then later on in this clip, it's going to be all about the millionaires and the billionaires and all that. So it seems to me, just a couple of things real quick, then we'll get into the actual privatizing of the TVA. But right now, it seems like what she's trying to do is she's trying to find another avenue locally to demean and demonize the Republicans and Donald Trump.
Absolutely. And the point that she misses there, and she's talking about trying to protect rural citizens. Listen, I represent rural citizens all across this country. We represent farmers. I grew up on a farm. We have a farm here. The flip side of this coin is you look at what happened in Cheatham County with eminent domain. And that is something that, because they are a federal corporation, they're allowed to do. They can go into an area, they can use eminent domain, they can bypass any kind of county ordinances, any kind of state ordinances, and they can essentially take rural land. And that's a problem. It's a problem if I'm a farmer and I stand to lose land because the government tells me that they need to take that farm, and I've got to go down to the Grand Ole Opry and grab John Rich to come and make some noise just so we can stop that. And quite frankly, that's the only way that did get stopped.
Yeah.
There was very little avenue otherwise. And again, let's go back to the same point. There was not a functioning board. They did not even have enough members to have a quorum so they could make decisions at that time. So all that President Trump's doing by making these nominations is trying to create some accountability.
And that's what we need in our government agencies, no matter the agency, is accountability. And when we talk about privatizing the TVA, part of this is, would you say, and I'm going to run to traffic, I'm going to tell you the question, then we'll talk about this coming back. But would you say that the TVA over the past, 4 or 5 years, if you want to go back even further, that's fine too, but has it really been, how functional has it been? We'll put it that way. Has it been functional? I know that there's been a lot of controversy regarding the TVA. More with Dustin Kittle straight ahead. It is 8:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be a nice day today. Shower in places this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, warm, high of 72. Dustin Kittle is joining us. Aftyn is trying to scare people into coming out and vote during the 7th Congressional District general election. I think that's part of what this is. But as far as the TVA, I mean, I've seen mixed messages on the TVA. Some people say the TVA is a complete train wreck. Other people say, oh, it's what keeps our electricity prices low. So what is your take on the TVA?
It's a little bit of a mixed bag. You're talking about a program that came in, New Deal, back in 1933, came in on the same track as the U.S. Farm Credit System. Both of those over time have grown due to government bloat, and essentially they're not as efficient and nimble as what they once were. Aftyn speaks about the fact that we pay lower power bills as far as because of TVA. That's not entirely true. Over the last 3 years, you've had rate hike increases to where the rates have increased by as much as 10% for some customers. And in the South, Tennessee in particular, Tennessee uses in the top 10 for the most power in the country. We use as much as 2 times the amount of power as someone in Wisconsin. So some of the price issues are to deal with volume. And so the customer in Tennessee is not necessarily paying less. It's just a talking point from her side to say that TVA is providing a cheaper power to rural residents. Again, a big part of that is because of the volume and the infrastructure that's already in place. And over time, what we're seeing, they've already put out projections. They're going to have increased rates going into the future.
One of the things that I'm a big fan of is nuclear power. I don't think you and I have spoken about nuclear power, but I wonder if part of this is that the TVA, mostly they've been very strong on nuclear power. And of course, we know that the Democrats, they're all about, wind and solar and all of those other things. So is part of this just, political? They're afraid that the TVA is going to go more down the road of nuclear power?
Well, I do think that that's a huge part of it. And when you look at some areas such as that, you've also got to take into account the environmental issues that are at play and certain immunities as far as legal immunity that comes into play for TVA. And when you look at the creation of new types of power and things of that nature, you've got to look at the potential for what could be the liability and what could be the cost. I'll give you an example on this. Kingston, Tennessee, about 15 years ago, had a coal ash disaster, environmental disaster. And essentially, we couldn't hold TVA responsible. And that was because they have government immunity. So that's another part of this. And when we look at advancing to other nuclear power options and things of that nature, we need to have all options on the table there. We've got to be able to be nimble, open-minded, and creative. And I think Aftyn's trying to give cover to the fact that we don't need to make any changes whatsoever to something that is essentially a federal monopoly.
And that would be obviously a big part of the conversation. There's so many different debates. So I'm a big fan of capitalism and, doing everything we can to build our economy. And I'm not necessarily one that's going to say that privatizing the TVA is a terrible thing. It is a bad thing. Nobody is saying that on the Trump side, nobody is actually saying, including the board members, that they want to privatize it. But when you look at the way the government runs stuff versus the private sector, oftentimes the private sector wins out.
Absolutely. And it's because of efficiency. And the government does not have accountability. That's what it all comes down to where, I'm not in favor of them turning over TVA to Jeff Bezos tomorrow. And I don't think that it should be looked at as an all or nothing proposition. Yeah. Essentially, to give you another example that would be hybrid in the middle, we could divide this up into regional co-ops, give the people of the different areas a voice in this, because right now the only voice that a rural resident has, if they're coming in with TVA to try to condemn a property and take it over through eminent domain, is that board. And when that board is not functioning, when those people are not appointed, they have no voice whatsoever. But a broader issue is the fact that that board is appointed by the president. We have no local say-so here as far as in the state of Tennessee. We're having to rely on what Washington's going to do. I would go back to the fact, shouldn't we have some kind of local control that at least keeps TVA in check? They should not be able to come in and use federal eminent domain powers when essentially they are functioning as a corporation. And, you look at how some of their executives are paid. They're not paid like a government employee. They are paid like a corporation. But yes, they get the cover of eminent domain, they get legal immunities, and they have a board that's not functioning.
And I think we're going to find out a lot more about the future of TVA as the time goes on. Always great to have you on. Dustin Kittle joining us. Dustin, how can people find you on X?
Yep, you can go to X at Dustin Kittle, and I'm also on Facebook at Dustin Kittle as well.
Kittle?
That's right.
All right, Dustin, always great to have you on. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon. It is 8:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and ask Joan. Hey, Joan, what's coming up in the news coming up at 8:30?
Some more school resource officers could be headed to Nashville schools. We've got that coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, listen, when I got to Tennessee, I got to tell you, friends, I was riddled with hurt. I mean, I had a neck that hurted. I had a back that hurt as well. And the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they fixed me right up, and they can do the same thing for you. So many people across Middle Tennessee have gone to see Dr. Kevin Mitchell, and they can help you as well. Again, if you have that chronic back, neck, or knee pain. And right now, they've got a great deal going on for you right now. It is called the Big Daddy Trump Special. $12 gets you a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. Just $12. Now, again, if you've got sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, they can help you at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Again, non-surgical spinal decompression. They can help you. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com. 827 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So you know what's great about me, Joan?
Yes, Dan?
What's great about me is that I can, have my every piece of attention in my mind focused on one thing and one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
And then forget about it 5 seconds later. It is amazing to me. I made a whole big deal about, all right, Dustin Kittle. I've got him coming on. I had a long question to Matt Van Epps, and so now I'm going to make sure that all my Dustin Kittle questions are 20 seconds or under.
Yeah.
Man, I totally shanked it. I didn't even remember that I was supposed to do that. And, of course, I'm being well-danned on the text line.
Of course you are. People are holding you accountable.
You know, that's okay. That's okay. Because you know what? Here's the thing, is that if that makes you feel better about yourself, then more power to you. I love that.
Actually, yeah, somebody texted and it said, 20 seconds?
I know.
20-second blown out in the first question, Dan.
Whatever. Let's see here. Donald Trump, listen, as bad of a question-asking day as I'm having, apparently, I want to hear again, and we are going to hear it during the crisscross handoff, the bludgeoning of ABC News by Donald Trump. Because as bad of a day as I'm having from a question-asking standpoint, that ABC News reporter, Mary Bruce, had a far, far worse day yesterday. Although, do you know what I wonder? And I meant to ask Brian Wilson this question, but you know, the show today has been such a blur. Is that as a former journalist, does he believe that this builds ABC's street cred or takes it away?
Yeah, they might wear this as a badge of honor because
badge of honor.
They actually took those sound bites that should have embarrassed her, and they posted them on the ABC site.
There you go.
So, yeah, I think
go.
they are wearing them as a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like me being second to none.
Right, exactly.
In the Nashville, was that the Nashville scene? Was that what that was? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Where I was second to none. Like, no, there are no good conservatives in Nashville. But number 2 is Dan Mandis.
Uh-huh.
Second to none.
Second to none.
I beat Marsha Blackburn. She came in 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. We've got Chris Hand, the crisscross handoff is coming up next. So we're going to hear that audio from ABC News as the president bludgeoning Mary Bruce. And that and a whole lot more straight ahead on WTN.
Good morning. It is now 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Nashville Council has approved a resolution last night. It would allow Metro Police to apply for a state grant for more resource officers in Nashville schools. Right now, there are 80 SROs in total, but Chief John Drake tells WSMV4 that there are staffing shortages, too. And that means that only 9 elementary schools are getting SROs right now.
Houses going up everywhere, apartments going up everywhere, businesses everywhere, and so it's a lot of demands on our time. And so we're trying to get there, but it's just we got to balance the entire city as well.
Yeah, all the high schools do have at least 2 SROs, and all 31 middle schools are also covered. Criminal charges could be coming against a teenager who was on board a Carnival cruise ship when his stepsister turned up dead. 16-year-old Anna Kepner died on the Horizon ship earlier this month.
According to the Daily Mail, a housekeeper found her body under her bed in a stateroom while the ship was out at sea. Authorities determining she died Friday, November 7th at 11:17 a.m. The new court document saying her stepmother has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children.
ABC's Victor Akendo there, the Miami-Dade County medical examiner, still trying to determine the cause of death. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've had a couple of really rough days on Wall Street, but things are looking a little bit up this morning. Dow Jones Industrial starting the day off 15 points higher. NASDAQ up 33. S&P 500 index up 5 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. Now, yesterday was a big day in the Mandis house. We got a refrigerator for the garage.
Oh, that's a biggie.
That's a biggie. That's like a step, right?
Yeah.
So we had a freezer down there, and then Amy said, why don't we just go ahead and get an actual cheap refrigerator down there in the basement? So that is in the garage, which is exactly what we did. Can you imagine, Joan? Can you guess, Joan, how old? We're not going to do this now. We're going to do this during the 35.
Okay.
How old was the oldest piece of meat in my freezer when we cleaned it out? We're going to do that coming up at 35.
Okay.
All right. DT McCall's. But the point is that I got my new black refrigerator from DT McCall's. Amy said, you know what? I would like a refrigerator in the garage. Yes, dear. First thing we did, dtmccalls.com. That is where we went. Yet another successful purchase from my friends at DT McCall's. Now, I've been telling you for years about my friends at DT McCall's. They've been helping people out for 4 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Indoor furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. If you need an appliance like I did, a refrigerator, go to their website, dtmccalls.com. Remember that if you buy it, they're going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. The guys that came and delivered the refrigerator, they were awesome as well. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. .833 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Is that breaking news? The new thing we have in the studio? Has that been discussed as of yet?
We discussed it yesterday, yes.
Okay, you and Matt or Charlie or whatever his name is. Chad?
yes. I talked with Chuck and Charlie.
Chad,
Charles.
No. Chad, I love you. I got Charlie on the mind.
Chaz.
So.
We talked with all the chs.
Okay, very good. So I'm being asked, Joan, why I'm not sitting in the gamer chair.
It's a brand new chair.
Oh, there's a brand new chair.
There is. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. By the way, we're going to do a pool between Joan, Sam, and you. How old was the oldest piece of beef in my freezer when we cleaned it out? How old is the oldest piece of meat in my freezer? I want you guys to guess. Because it was actually kind of horrifying. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Now listen, they are serving a big savings and a big gratitude this month. Now, you get a clogged drain. Don't wait. Get their 93 or free mainline opening special from Busy Bee. $93. And by the way, here's where the free comes in. If Busy Bee cannot figure out the problem, then that service is actually free. Offer valid for single-family homes only. It is important to do this heading into the holidays. And, yeah, the really cold season, and only at $93. That is a big-time savings from my friends at Busy Bee. Now, if you're also feeling festive, submit your favorite Thanksgiving recipe, and you could win $2,000 off a new HVAC install. Runner-up is going to get $1,000 off. Winners going to be announced on Facebook Live on November 21st. Now, again, remember, big deal for the month of November. If you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. Get their 93 or free mainline opening special, $93 or free. Offer valid for single-family homes only. Call them, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
Still very slow on 24 heading in this morning, but no accidents in that delay. We do have an accident in Bordeaux, though. Buena Vista Pike at West Trinity Lane, and another in Glencliff on Thompson Lane at South Lake Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, that's really nice.
Festive.
Festive, yes.
Shut this off.
We have.
See, I knew he was going to do that, which is why I said shut it off.
We have a little, it looks like a 1950s jukebox, right? As a Christmas decoration. And it only plays 4 songs.
Oh, yeah?
My 3-year-old's only interested in one of them.
Okay, what are the songs that it sings?
It's like Jingle Bells, rocking around the Christmas tree. But all we get is fa la 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 all day. And she just cranks it.
Really?
And she can pick this thing up. It's like, it's like teeny tiny.
Yep.
And she runs away with it.
No kidding. Well, at least you'll know you'll never lose or just follow the fa la la.
That's all we have to do.
Right? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Christmas music.
What?
Okay. Don't you
Are you still not feeling well? Is Dan still under the weather, guys?
No, I'm feeling fine.
Christmas music is awesome.
Bah humbugs.
Yeah, bad case of the bah humbugs.
I'm sorry, you're the one that doesn't like Halloween.
That's fair. It's satanic. This is about the birth of our Savior. It's different, Dan.
Is that what it is? Is that what Jesus Christ is to you? Is a Christmas tree? Come
awesome.
on, man. No, I don't like Christmas music. Actually, I really don't.
Like at all?
Not really. I like one Christmas song.
What are you doing?
Wait, I want to know if people.
Which Christmas song do you like? Because
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
We're entering the judgment zone.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. I want to know if people remember what my favorite Christmas song is.
I've been in on Christmas music since baseball season. One of the last games that we had for Bishop, young Bishop.
Yeah.
The other team, the Pirates we were playing, had walk-up music, and this kid came up to Brenda Lee's "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." I was like, I like that kid.
Wow. All right. Very
and I've been festive ever since.
Have you?
I have.
Okay. I'm going to see if anybody can remember. I'm testing. Can you folks remember? Because I do this every stinking year.
Every year?
Every year. What is my favorite Christmas song?
I can't remember. I don't recall.
I'd like to take a guess.
Go ahead.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
No, certainly apropos, I would suppose.
I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
Is it Baby It's Cold Outside?
No, but you know what? I actually started listening to that
Elf.
just because everybody was all pissed off about it. You know what I mean? Like kind of like
you only like your Christmas music with a hint of misogyny?
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, good enough.
And a cup of tea.
Say what's in that drink.
Well, the funny thing that the best thing ever is, I think I did this. But where the guy was like reading the lyrics to that song
Baby
about
It's Cold Outside.
Baby It's Cold Outside, and the other one. What WAP? WAP is all we can say. So, what's her name again?
It was Cardi B. Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. So they have this song WAP. We're not going to get into what exactly it is, but it is horribly offensive. And so,
I remember.
Yeah, at the same time,
horribly offensive.
At the same time, they're talking about how
gave macaroni a bad rap.
Baby is cold outside, and people are saying that's rapey.
Yep.
Yet the comedian starts reading some of the lyrics of WAP. Oh my goodness gracious! It was so. You know what we ought to do? We should do that on our podcast on Thursday.
Okay. Just read the lyrics.
With
no additional context.
That's exactly what we should do.
Everybody wants to know, is it I want a hippopotamus for Christmas?
No, this is it. Turn it up. The Waitresses.
The Waitresses?
Yeah, what's the song called?
It's Christmas Rapping.
Yeah, Christmas Rapping by the Waitresses. Listen.
I've never heard it.
It has the longest intro, doesn't it?
Well, you know what's great is,
it's an intro long enough to get Dan kicked off YouTube.
Oh, no. All right. I love this song. I'll listen to this song in July.
What?
Yeah, this is a great song.
No, this is not on any of the Christmas classic playlists.
Oh,
Never
my
heard
goodness
this.
gracious.
Never heard this on Mix 92.9.
No.
You are wrong.
I
Call
worked in the
people at
mall
Mix. Do we
during
know anybody
Christmas.
at Mix? I promise you, if
Get
we know
Barbara
anybody,
on the phone.
if we know anybody at Mix, they play this song.
Do you know what year this was?
Probably in the 5 o'clock hour when no one's listening.
86, I think.
81.
81.
Yeah.
81.
It was -7.
You were -7? 81, I was in like 6th grade. I think Joan was in high school.
I was -15.
It was the year before I graduated high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing
love
wrong with
this
that.
song.
I don't
Yeah.
know why Chris is snickering.
Yeah, Chris, why are you
As
snickering?
I thought Dan was just throwing strays.
No, I'm not throwing strays. And by the way, Joan looks better than you, and she's like half the age.
Touche.
Ooh.
I'd agree with that.
Look at me
Do you like this?
I do. I like this song.
Would you go see the waitresses at the Sphere in Vegas?
A little hard.
Why are they
She's
dead?
dead.
Oh.
She's dead. Yeah.
They can do anything these days with the modern advances in science.
Especially with the Sphere, they could totally CGI.
Yeah. Who's to say that you can't see her, Dan?
Well, sure, but I'm not going to fly all the way to Vegas to go see the waitresses with only, one alive.
Does the hologram play the song twice,
No.
call it a day?
I don't know how it works. Why are we doing this?
A hologram.
Take it off. Just take it off. If I get kicked off of YouTube, I'm gonna be very angry with you. Did a lot of people remember that it was my favorite? Did people?
No, but we got
People on the
got
super
a few.
text line.
They
yeah.
definitely have opinions on it. Terrible Dan. This is so odd. Stop it. Make it stop. Worst Christmas song ever.
John says I'm so odd. Why would you say odd? I'm not
John.
odd.
It's an odd choice to have as your favorite Christmas song.
Well, it's okay. 6795 kind of hits it on the head because they played this on K-Rock in Southern California all through the 80s.
Nah.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, so you were brainwashed against your will. You never stood a chance.
What does that even mean? Brainwashed against my will because I like a song?
No.
Yep.
He just said that it was played over the airwaves where you grew up in the time period you were forming your opinions and perspectives.
Yeah,
you never
but-
stood a chance.
No, but I like the song. I think it's a great song.
Yes. Scott says waitresses rock. 19.
Thank you.
There you go, Scott.
Mm-hmm. Great song on my playlist, says 1844. 1271. Make it stop. Whatever.
Can we talk about your meat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My meat's been frozen for a long time.
So, okay, I have a question.
Chris pivots to the meat.
I have a question. You're out sick yesterday and the wife is making you clean out the freezer?
Funny you should ask that. All right, so here's what happened to me yesterday.
You had a touch of the vid.
I did not have a touch of the vid.
Again, it came back around
Do you
within a
need
week.
me to spray anything down
No,
so that way
for
I
the
can
love of all that is
get
holy.
lambasted for a few days by all the hosts for trying to keep everybody healthy?
I woke up at midnight, as I usually do, and I wasn't feeling well. And by 12:48, I was like, "There's no way I can do this.
Was it diarrhea?
There's no way we can do it." Well, if you must know, it just wasn't pretty.
It was a titch of the rhea.
The brown
Yes.
river squirts, they say.
Oh, stop.
Really? Why can't you two just show a modicum of class?
We're just trying to get to the bottom
So I called
of
Brian
what
at 12.
happened to you yesterday.
I called Brian at 12:48, and he was nice enough to come on. Now, Amy ordered a refrigerator over the weekend because we need one apparently now for the garage because a family of 3 clearly needs 2 refrigerators. So we called. We didn't call. We ordered it online. DT McCall's, but to do so we had to clear out the freezer. So let me see if Amy has texted me back yet. She's got a million things going on today. Thank you, Matt Murphy. Christmas does suck. Christmas music sucks. That's exactly right.
Another Scrooge.
I got you back,
Jeez.
Dan. Christmas music sucks, says one Matt Murphy.
Yeah, he texted me as well, and I didn't dignify it with a response.
It's
He
terrible.
worked Christmases in Waffle Houses. He was beat down and downtrodden about it.
2022.
2022.
That's the oldest.
That is the
package of meat?
oldest piece of meat that I had in my refrigerator, my freezer downstairs.
That's not even old.
Can I be honest with you?
Wow.
I thought it was going to be way worse.
Yeah, I was thinking like 7 years.
I was in the teens in my mind.
Oh.
I was in like 2017, 2018.
But see, here's my question though. If you get a piece of meat,
What was the price on it?
so do you know what? So That's interesting. I don't know because it was all covered in frost. But Joan, you're the mom of the show, so
It's not okay to keep it. No.
so if it's 3 or 4 years old and then you defrost it, is it still good to eat or no?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
cook it right
literally
away.
it is.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's still okay, but it's going to taste awful. Because that frost,
What kind of meat? Are we talking like a chuck roast, a tenderloin, a ham?
Ribeye.
I had some ribeyes.
Okay.
I had some ribeyes. There's probably like $200 worth of meat that got thrown away.
Is this from that remote we had a couple years ago with the meat truck? Do you remember that?
No.
Where we had the meat truck remotes?
No, I did endorsements for some meat company. I can't remember which one it was, like years ago. And so put it in. So that stuff went in the freezer, and it's just a bunch of other meat went in the freezer. Yeah. And so we decided that we needed to move the freezer, and we took out all the meat, and we have now thrown it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I personally, no, I wouldn't.
No? What's
Especially steaks. When you've got a good cut of steak,
Yeah.
I don't endorse having it in the freezer for more than a month.
Okay.
4506 on the text line says Joan can't cook.
Oh yeah, I can, but I let my husband do it now.
Oh, I
let-
have some young Billy in my freezer from 2022.
Billy goat?
Young
Deer.
Billy. What is that, like a strain of weed or something?
You're working to outlaw all that stuff.
No, it's deer. Some stew meat.
Deer. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm still not a fan of deer meat.
No.
Just haven't had
what's
it
the
right.
What's the weirdest meat you've ever eaten?
Crocodile.
You've eaten crocodile, Joan?
It was actually alligator. I'm sorry, it was alligator meat.
Little alligator bites.
Yeah.
Big difference
Yeah,
between
but-
crocodile and alligator
Yeah.
meat.
I'm sorry.
I've eaten bear.
You have?
Yeah. It wasn't that good. But I did it because I was like, you gotta take a bite.
You gotta
Say
do
you
it.
did
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the weirdest meat I've ever had. I don't.
Escargot, anybody?
I've done escargot.
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
I wouldn't say it's weird though. It's a delicacy.
Yeah, I don't know.
A little slimy.
I couldn't tell you the weirdest thing I probably said it on the air before, but just nothing comes to mind. I like to sniff
Scorpion?
Sharpies. That's what I like to do. Sniff Sharpies.
Like the viral video kid. I like turtles.
I like turtles too.
Look at all those chickens.
No, I don't know. Nothing weird that I've eaten. I do like the smell of Sharpies. I've said that for a long time. My wife loves the smell of skunks. The dead animal on the ground.
There you go.
Yeah, she loves that. That's a little weird.
What
Prefers
about the
them
smell of
dead.
gasoline?
What?
The smell of gasoline.
You like the smell of gasoline?
Yeah, but I'm asking if you like it too.
No. I like the smell of tires.
I like gasoline.
So gasolines contain xenopheromones, which is why people are attracted to the smell.
Okay, when I was,
Interesting.
can I just say this? When I was a kid and I was working at a gas station, and then I would go hit up on all the chicks because I smelled of gas, it never worked for me. So clearly not.
Well,
Joan, you should I get John some gasoline scented cologne
I
for
think
you?
not.
Are you sure I can?
I'm pretty sure I don't know.
I hear that it's explosive.
The taste buds of our listeners is weird. I'm going through the text line. People have
Kangaroo
eaten
is awesome.
several people have eaten kangaroo.
That's just
Sounds.
Turtle, elk,
rattlesnake.
Elk is amazing.
haggis. Have you eaten haggis?
No.
What is haggis?
Sheep intestine.
Ow.
Thanks.
Royally good.
Well, listen, when people, like Sam and Joan, when they like to just pick up roadkill for dinner that night, that's what they're going to eat.
Sure.
If you hit it with the car, it's yours.
That's exactly right.
There's plenty of debris on the roads at this moment, and I wish they would get cleaned up.
Now, Joan, when you pick up the roadkill for dinner later on to fix for John, do you have like a basket in the back seat, and you just scoop it up and flip
Yes,
it
I
in?
Carry the basket over.
Is that what
yeah.
you do?
I have a little shovel in the back.
You bring the basket to the roadkill, not the roadkill to the basket. Dan.
Correct.
Come on.
Correct. I have a little space in the back of my
Snake?
car where it can stay.
I won't eat snake.
9868 koala.
Oh, they're
That's
mean.
a crime.
No. Koalas are mean. I don't know if that's a crime, but they're
5190
mean.
5194 had dog meat in Korea.
Oof.
Okay.
I think that's all they have in Korea.
Dog meat?
Dog meat and rice.
You know what they don't have in Korea, in North Korea? Dogs. Because of all the dogs are gone.
I'm getting it. I'm picking it up.
Bison.
Good.
I've had bison. And ostrich.
Frog legs, rooster testicles.
Oh, frog legs.
Rooster testicles.
So the guy says rooster testicles. Do people eat rooster testicles?
I know they do that with goats.
Oh, Kenny just ruined it for me.
I feel like rooster testicles would be small. That's more of an appetizer than a meal. Is that just me? I didn't know that. I didn't know that those guys had those dangling. I don't know. I've never seen a picture of rooster testicles. That's weird.
I don't know.
That's a weird mental picture.
Boy,
you know what I mean?
I've never looked down there at a rooster.
I didn't know that.
You know, it should. Okay, so here's what we need to do. When Chris is on the air, somebody take a picture of your rooster testicles and send them in to.
I'm Googling it already.
Send them to Chris.
like little kidney bean looking things.
Okay, good.
Interesting.
So they're appetizers.
It looks like some Eastern European guy put them in a stew of some sort. Rooster testicle stew. No kidding.
Did they taste like chicken? Do they taste like chicken testicles?
I think they do. There's a chicken foot in there too.
Talk about chicken nuggets.
It does. It looks like a little kidney bean.
All right, there you go. People are really responding to this, and I have no idea why. Because I'm going to go home and I'm going to shame spiral and hope that nobody important was listening.
Would you eat rooster testicle stew?
Nope, sure wouldn't.
What about Rocky Mountain oysters?
I would listen.
Not
no.
knowingly, right? So you might taste it not knowing what
no,
it is.
I'm not doing it. I would not eat those things. No.
I didn't know that was a thing.
You know, maybe what we ought to do is have a remote broadcast and have somebody bring in some rooster testicles.
We should have a Friendsgiving with weird food.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Or awful.
We do a whole Friendsgiving.
Yeah?
Sure.
And we have rooster testicle stew.
Whoever's got the best plumbing, you get to host.
Okay.
That ain't going to be me based on yesterday, boy. I'll tell you that. It is.
We're going to need to get Busy Bee over for the 93 are free before we have this Friendsgiving.
Listen, we anticipate maybe a lot of use of the bathroom. By the way, did you know that today is like National Something Toilet Day? Today is National Toilet Day.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You celebrated early.
Yeah. That's where this show is gone. All right, 8:55, Joan was coming up.
Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers resigns from a company board over his email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein. It's coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:55, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Contours, listen, if you want to slim up for the holidays, trim up for the holidays, check out my friends at Contours. They do, of course, have those great belly buster specials going on right now. But what they've done is not only do they have a belly buster special, but they've got the Dan deal as well, where you also get a facial. So the great thing about Contours is they can help you with your stubborn belly fat, or they can help you with those fine lines on the face. Bottom line is they use that great red light technology. It is completely non-invasive. It is painless. It involves no downtime. Their unique red light technology is considered to be far safer than other methods widely available in the market that kill or remove fat cells and, yes, those fine lines as well. So you want the Big Dan deal? Check them out. You can call them up and ask for the facial and also the Belly Buster Special. Call them, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, online, ContoursLLC.com.